WPEN Burlington, Philadelphia, a Beasley Media Group station. Official home of the Sixers, Flyers, Union, and the best Eagles talk in Philadelphia. 97.5 The Fanatic.
Good morning. Thought I'd help you wake up.
It's 6 a.m. and you're listening to The John Kincade Show, Philadelphia's longest running sports talk morning show on 97.5 The Fanatic, Philadelphia.
Let the party begin!
The show starts now.
Good to be back with you today. John Kincade Show on 97.5 The Fanatic. A Wednesday morning where a lot of people are complaining about the smoke, that it's affecting them, and it appears to be Jersey, much bigger than Pennsylvania, is getting it more.
It's
people
weird.
over on Jersey side.
Yeah, it's really weird. I've never seen anything like it. Connor and I were talking about the pictures from the Yankees game last night, where radar said it was perfectly clear, but it looked like there was just almost like a storm over Yankee Stadium last night. I told you before I went to bed, I went to close our front door, and you could really smell it.
Smell it
like I
coming
went
in.
out on the porch to be like, wow, this is pretty amazing. So, yeah, people that have trouble with it, feel for them and all. Otherwise, it's just strange. Takes away the sunshine, John.
Keener,
I like sunshine.
I know Connor's going to muddle through. Connor, you going to be able to get through this?
Yeah, I'll be good. Amazing is not the word I would use to describe it. I'd say annoying. Like, I don't know. I don't have good sinuses because I can't smell. I'm all messed up there. So this is bad for me. I've had trouble breathing the past 2 days.
I'm just going to sort of look at you now and go muddle through, dude.
Yeah, no.
Muddle through.
I'm good.
You can do it.
No, I'll be fine.
You can do it. You're going to be fine.
It's just annoying. Like, get your wildfires under control.
Yeah.
Canada.
Yeah,
Get
for people that are affected by
Right,
it, yeah,
the
I feel
people
bad
that-
for you.
yeah.
We're not, so we don't know how they feel. But
I said just muddle through, and hopefully it'll be it looks like a crazy storm from like a movie.
yeah, it
Like
does.
the
It's weird.
video pictures and everything like that. Hey, Bradford White water heaters are here for the pro. Thanks, Bradford White, bringing in the 6 o'clock hour of the John Kincade Show. In the morning mind better, the average American woman will do this more than 4,000 times in her lifetime, even though doctors say you shouldn't do it at all. Coach, does it mean you're going to go blind if you do it?
I don't know the medical research behind.
Well, it can't be that because it says men do it less than 750 times.
Yeah, that would be reversed probably.
Average American woman will do this more than 4,000 times in her lifetime.
I will give you a hint.
Okay, go ahead.
When I was putting this together, it was actually in the elevator today, because I always look at the iPads in the elevator, and they give us trivia facts and all kinds of stuff. Bob, right up your alley. That's the hint.
I was thinking. Weird is my first answer was going to be, but I knew it couldn't be right. Is smoke?
Well, that's not up my alley because I've never smoked anything in my life.
That's
right,
not it.
and I don't smoke either, so I can join you on that one.
1,000 times.
I don't know.
Take a shot of alcohol.
No, men drink more than women, right?
Probably, yeah.
Connor, what do you say?
I don't know. My initial thought was buzz the tower, but clearly it's not that. So,
Cut their
I don't
own
know.
hair.
That's good.
that's a good guess.
Yeah.
It's not right.
That's
4,000 times they cut their own hair, though?
I mean, how many
The average woman, 4,000? No.
Yeah,
I
that's
have
true.
no idea.
shave?
Yeah, I don't understand
What is
women
it?
at all.
It's not good for you.
It's not good for you.
Correct. It might leave a scar.
Get a.
Leave a scar.
A tattoo?
Correct. Nope.
No. 4,000 tattoos.
I have no idea.
What is it?
I'm sorry for anybody out there that might be eating or drinking your coffee. Bob, pop a pimple.
Oh, that's cool. Why you equate it to me? Because I like
because
watching
you love
it?
Dr.
You watch Dr.
Popper.
Pimple Popper.
Good point.
You enjoy Dr. Pimple Popper, right?
I don't really watch it, in all honesty. I like the idea. It's fun. It's a funny idea. But to calm me down sometimes, I will go on the internet and look up extraction of blackheads.
Jeez.
Yeah.
That's disgusting.
That is
It's
totally
really not.
disgusting.
It's pretty cool.
That is a filthy. That's
Lord.
absolutely filthy.
Nasty.
I watched it.
It's filthy.
I watched that show once, put it on once, and I saw something that just I can't unsee. Oh God,
She's cute though, Dr. Pimple Popper.
Yeah, she's not a
We
bad
like
looking
her.
lady.
There are
but-
cute girls that don't pop pimples that you can look at.
Yes.
I'm just saying, I get my cake and eat it too, where you get a cute pimple popper,
Oh,
and she's
jeez.
popping some pimples.
I don't want a piece of that cake.
That's filthy.
I don't know.
That is
There's two things that
absolutely
I enjoy seeing in life. One is fish being caught, stuff being taken out of the sea that you don't know what's coming, and something being extracted from your body
Now,
that
do
you
you-
don't know what it is.
Do you like to see the fish return to the sea or brought back to be eaten?
No, I just like the action of it being caught.
Caught.
Yeah. What happens afterwards, it doesn't really matter to me.
Is that a skill?
Sure.
Catching a fish?
Fishing?
I talk,
Because anybody can catch a fish. I've proven that over and over again, and I have no skill with it. So I'm always like along the lines of, okay, yeah, there are people who are more skilled at catching fish, but there's no skill involved in catching fish because I have no training, no nothing. And almost every time I've gone fishing, I've caught a fish.
well, that's like saying like I can hit a foul shot, so anybody can do it. To be a really good fisherman, yeah, there's
Yes.
skill to it.
No. I bet there's
Yeah.
a level of skill involved.
I
sure.
remember, so I was going fishing one time, and I was not really, I wanted to be better at it. So a former Big Five coach, who's a friend of mine, is a big fisherman. And he said, come on over to my house. I'll show you how to, and he had a pool in his backyard. Showed me how to cast, showed me how to set everything up and all that. And he said, you have to be kind of an athlete. There's a thing to it about anticipation skills, reading a situation. And it was cool. He taught me a lot.
I enjoy, the only thing I can't do is deep sea fishing.
I would never even try that because I know I'd get sick as a dog.
Yeah, but
I'd
even
love
though,
that.
no, but I got to tell you, Bob, they gave me first off, I'm going to use that relief band that I'm going to be able to use that one of our listeners was kind enough to give me in case I face any, during chemo, in case any like stomach upset. But they gave me a patch behind my ear that was a quarter the size, maybe, of a postage stamp. So like 1/4.
And it worked fine?
Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing at all. It was unbelievable. So, I mean, I think there's things now that could, sort of help you with that as far as the feeling
Okay.
a little bit.
I'm still good. I don't wanna go deep sea
It was
fishing.
behind my ear, and I couldn't get, I had nothing, Connor.
Oh, that's good. Let me know when they come up with one for wildfire smoke, and
wildfire
I'll be first
smoke.
in line. I would
Yes.
love to go deep sea fishing though. Catch a shark. Yeah,
A mako,
tell you
a
what.
mako shark?
yeah, I'm in.
As much as I love watching it, and I could watch fishing shows all day long, I don't know. Something being out
Really?
on the water where I can't see land, that doesn't really do it. For, now, I'll sit on the back bay all day long and just, throw a line in the water all day long. I'll
Okay,
do that.
and you're a crab
Or
guy. You like to
crabbing. Oh my
crab it,
God,
right?
I love crabbing.
But do you do anything
no.
during crabbing other than just drop the?
But see, the way we do it is different. Like I told you before, we don't just drop a thing. We do a trot line.
Okay.
So it's 1,500 feet. So you're constantly going back and forth and picking the crabs off of the trot line.
Plus, you drink.
So no, not when I go crabbing. No,
What?
because we're starting at 4:30 in the
busy.
morning.
Yeah, it's like 4:30 in the morning when you
oh
go
yeah,
crabbing,
you're busy.
right?
There's
Never
no
too busy
resting.
for a beer.
4:30 in the
Look,
morning.
I'm. Oh yeah.
Oh no, not me. I can't
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
no,
we get out
I'm
on
not
the
a
water
big.
at like
yeah,
4:30,
no, but I'm
5
not
o'clock.
drinking at 4:30 in the morning.
God no.
No.
I'll tell you
suit
what. I
yourself.
told you guys I don't drink on planes. You guys know I like my
Right.
beer. I don't drink on planes, and going out on a boat, probably not.
I would imagine it would be a little
Like
bit
I want
tough.
to keep my faculties in case God forbid.
Yeah, you want to make sure just in case you have to captain the boat home.
Yeah, or you got to swim and all that.
What are you
stuff.
worried you'll hit another boat? There's not that much traffic out there.
You're wearing a life vest, right? In case.
Yeah, I mean, I'm only on the back bay, so I'm probably lying. If somebody had a cooler and I'm on the back bay and we're just,
I
chilling
want to
out.
know. The fishing in the pool is an interesting idea to
Well,
learn
it's
a
cool.
little bit about.
Yeah, so he showed me how to cast, proper way to do it. And if you're looking for this and that, like the way you want to, treat your line as far as jiggling it or making the fish, fancy to it. Like it was pretty
What
neat.
color worm do you use, Bob?
We didn't use.
You did use a rubber worm, or do you use real worms? or-
We do. When I used to go fishing with my kids in a back like creek that we had near our house, I would go get the night worms at like Walmart you can get a can of night worms there and put them on there, and they work okay.
It used to be Gordon's. There was a Gordon's Sporting Goods, I think it was called, on Westchester Pike that was right near the Two Guys, and they would sell you a little plastic container with live worms in it.
Yeah. Was it expensive or not? Pretty cheap for
No, it was
worms,
pretty
right?
cheap for worms.
How much your worms? Who's your worm
I
guy?
mean, I don't know if worms were like, it was like maybe like $1.50. You'd get like a little
Who's your worm
little
guy?
plastic container with worms in
exactly. I
it
remember
before you
that.
go fishing. Which
And
is,
it would have the opening where you could.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It wasn't like you had to take
Nah.
the
Take
the
thing
worms
off.
out.
You're
Yeah.
paying too much for worms. I'll introduce you to my worm guy. You'll be good.
you have a worm guy?
Of course. You
Well,
got
you
to
go
for
out
everything.
back and get some worms.
Now, Anthony, I know, has a lot of guys. I don't think Anthony's got a worm guy.
Oh, Anthony's got an everything guy.
Anthony's got Anthony has a guy for everything. If there was a disposal of the body guy or anything, I'd always count on Cuz.
So
He'd be the one I'd choose.
my ultimate, I got a guy. We met yesterday at PJ's in Bluebell.
What was that?
Scotty Rigo, who used to work for the Sixers, came out to,
Oh, that's
to
awesome.
PJ's. Yeah. The ultimate, I got a guy. But yesterday,
So he rivals Anthony Gargano.
no, he
Really?
far exceeds. And
Oh, my
Anthony
gosh.
Anthony will admit it. So yesterday, Rigo, we're talking to him about something. Great guy, right? You met him for the first time.
Oh, yeah.
Connor?
Love Scotty.
Yeah, so
He is loved around the NBA.
oh, he's the best.
Too.
And so yesterday he's talking about something and he's taking a new job and all this. And he's like, oh, I got a man for that. And I go, whoa. Hold on. You've grown up. You have a man now? You don't have a guy? He goes, yeah, sometimes we got to grow up.
Wow.
So he's got a man, not a guy.
Got a man for it.
Yeah.
Hey, Adam Schefter joins us today at 8:20. Keith Jones, the Flyers president, will join us at 8:30 as he's calling the NHL Stanley Cup Finals. But we had to bother him, and I said to Coach, I said, let's get Jonesy on tomorrow because I need to hear about what's going on because one trade has gone down, and it is let's just say it's a haul that I didn't expect them to be able to get for Ivan Provorov, and a potential trade of, I would almost say, impending trade of Carter Hart could be on the table. We'll talk to Keith Jones today at 8:30, so you don't want to miss that one there. The Phillies win last night, and as I watched that game, by the way, and I put a tweet out right before going to bed. If you are not a person who loves the 8:55 final pitch, you've never had to get up at 4 a.m. It is freaking awesome. That was awesome last night. And Christina goes, you need to go to bed. You had a medical procedure today. You got to work tomorrow. You should go to bed. And I'm like, I am just fine. I'm fine. And this game's going to be over by 9 o'clock. And she goes, it's never going to be over by 9 o'clock. And it was over at 8:55. That was awesome last night. I love seeing that. But every inning of that game last night, when the Tigers came up with a great defensive play to stop a potential rally, or there was a missed opportunity to score, I kept saying to my wife, I don't like the feel of this game. I see the Tigers getting like 2 runs on the bullpen late or whatever, or Taijuan Walker giving up a hit and then a 2-run homer. I just had a bad feeling about that game all last night. Phillies have won 4 in a row. Connor's wearing his. And Connor, I wore mine today in honor because I can't really do the pullover shirt today after the procedure yesterday, so I wanted something button up. And in solidarity with you, little Phillies action.
Appreciate it. We're starting a movement. Yours probably smells a little bit better than mine smells like right now, but hey, we'll take it.
Yes, it was good last night.
Yeah, that was my favorite game of the year so far.
Okay, tell me
Really?
why.
Oh,
Tell
yeah.
me why.
Well,
That's pretty cool that you said that.
absolutely.
I'm trying to figure out why.
I love pitching. I love the way that
Okay.
pitchers dissect an offense. That was the textbook example of that. It was a great performance from a guy you really need in Taijuan Walker. It was a Kyle Schwarber leadoff home run. Like, I like cool, unique things. The leadoff home run 1-0 victory is awesome. And like you just said, we were done before 9. That's everything. Checked all the boxes.
That is nice. The one thing is, though, and you and I both enjoy talking to Jason Stark, like that's a Jason Stark game to me. First batter of the game for the Phillies hits a home run that ends up being the difference in the whole game. So many drama things. But I'm intrigued by this, and this is where I'm smiling, Bob, is that in the past handful of days, I've seen Aaron Nola, and now I've seen Taijuan Walker show me what at their best I thought they would be. And if we could get that 2 out of 3 starts the rest of the season, I don't know if that's too much to ask, but if both of them could give us an impressive effort like that, 2 out of 3, and I realize when you're playing teams better than the Tigers, you're probably going to give up some more runs. You're probably going to, it's going to be you're going to have to score more than that. But that is the biggest smiling point to me today. A 4-game winning streak and the fact that you see Taijuan Walker and Aaron Nola both showing us a glimpse of what they're about.
Yeah, they've only given up 8 runs in their last 4 games, which they've won. The bullpen also, on top of what you're saying, like Kimbrel's hitting 95,
He's
96
awesome.
last night.
He threw 198. He overthrew it, but that was
he did. He
awesome.
overthrew it the high outside pitch. You're exactly right. But it seems like, I'm not definitively saying this, the pitching is starting to round a little bit into form. You're seeing guys, Nola the other night, his fastball was hitting 95,
No, his
96.
fastball was as good as I saw all year.
And that doesn't happen with him. Usually he's a 93 guy, 92 guy. And, therefore that's why he has to try to hit corners and all. But he was going high and tight on guys the other night with 2 strikes and forcing them to swing, getting strikeouts that way. Walker last night, great outing. And the announcers talked about this a little bit. He gets a little too frustrated too easily, and you don't want him to get off his game, but he didn't last night. He let it go. Connor, I'm with you how great of a game that was. I do love 1-0 games as much as I love 11-3 games too. It's good to see them win this type of game. Kyle Schwarber leading off. They've won 4 or 5 when he's leading off. It's weird. We didn't agree with it. We probably still don't agree with it. But they're winning, and that's all that matters.
The one thing I would say, too, is that I loved both of them were pounding the strike zone. Nola in his start. And again, and John Kruk talked about it because I always talk about the nibbler. And we got into it last week a little bit. Bob's like, he's like, well, that's what Nola has to do because he doesn't have the overpowering stuff. He was pounding the strike zone. You don't have to have a 98-mile-an-hour fastball to just go at it and make people or put the ball in play. Keep it in the yard and put the ball in play. I was impressed.
Well,
and that gets me excited.
It helps when the other team only has one guy batting above 250. Like that.
Don't you put a damper on our
Now
good
you realize
mood
they
today.
have the same. They pretty much had the same. The other night had the same record as the Phillies.
Yeah, absolutely.
Going into the
But
series, I mean,
their record's inflated because of their division.
Yeah, that is truth.
Yeah, they're terrible. So, and I'm not trying to, Bob, put your hands down.
No, you're
Keep
like
those hands
the
where I can't
smog
see it,
from a
Cody.
Canadian forest fire.
This is fun. I'm enjoying it. I'm wearing the shirt.
You are.
But
This is good.
I'm just saying the way he attacked the lineup, I think part of that was because of how bad they are, and it's not something you'll typically see from Nola.
I think the winning streak shirt, Connor, is part of this.
It might be.
Yeah, I think
Who's
it's
to
a big
say?
part of it.
I think it's
yeah.
a big part of it. I think
It might be all of it.
I think you coming up with something creative to be able to do that, and make that better is a positive thing.
Sometimes the team needs you, Johnny.
Hey, June is Rose Month, and Pallades Florist has 16 different colors available, all on sale for just $59.95 a dozen in a vase. That's $20 off the regular price. Call 800-215-2999. 800-215-2999 or go to PalladesFlorist.com.
Wait, you went from crick to vase?
Ooh,
A vase. Well, it's a vase. Isn't it a vase?
I say vase.
I've never said vase in my life.
Really?
That's
Vase.
all right, yeah.
I say vase.
Really?
Yeah. Is there a vase? It is. I've never said. Is that a
Oh, bring out my best vase. Yeah, no, it's vase.
really? I've
To me, it
never
is.
vase. I've never used. I don't use vase.
Huh. I got to throw out a happy birthday.
Happy
If you
birthday to
guys don't
whom?
mind.
No, I love it.
Bobby Cooney today.
Happy birthday, Bobby.
Yeah, my son today. Birthday.
Happy
Awesome.
birthday.
Yep. Love you, Bob.
Good job, Bobby.
He's the man.
Hey, and I want to thank Dr. Omar. I can't pronounce Dr. Omar's last name, but Dr. Omar,
Vaz.
Dr. Omar Vaz, Dr. Omar yesterday, and the entire team out at Lankenau Hospital. I had my port installed yesterday morning. I only had to use half of the painkiller that they offered me during the procedure because I wasn't feeling anything. Skilled, masterful mainline health doctors and nurses, and continue to do an amazing job. And I couldn't believe it. At one point, he goes, "Do you feel?" I think he said somebody, "Did you feel me cutting you?" I said, "I didn't need you to remind me that you're cutting me." He goes, "I don't feel anything. It felt great." And the only time I felt it was when they were stitching me up. I could just feel that little tug.
Yeah.
But everything was perfect. Absolutely awesome. The
Good.
doctors are fantastic, and we are a week outside of chemo. So I'm going to
I got to tell you, doctors can be good. You're fantastic.
What do you mean?
Well, the way you're going through all this, it really is. It's cool to see. We're proud of you. It's awesome. You're people are just amazed at the way you're going through it, and us, no more than us here at the station.
Look, it's going to be.
Well, it's not easy, and you're making it seem easy.
But it's one or the other, Bob, right?
No, I hear you.
The funny thing is that this is exactly how I think you'd handle it. It's one or the other. You can sit in a corner and suck your thumb, or you can try to find a way to have it. Well, you and I both try to find a good thing out of every day.
Yeah, and
there were good things. My doctors and nurses are freaking spectacular,
and that's great.
I mean, they're awesome. They're awesome, and so I feel good. I feel good. And FanFest got announced yesterday.
How about
what the hell, Coach? You do FanFest the day I'm not here? What the hell? A big announcement like that, and I didn't even. I mean, you didn't even tell me in advance that was the big announcement.
No, I told you today.
Yeah, I did. He tells me this morning.
Yeah. You needed to know today.
No, I saw it yesterday. I got an email yesterday because I'm in the 97.5 email club and everything, and I hear these secrets from Coach.
Yeah. Tried to take you off of that email, but it didn't work in time.
That's awesome. FanFest. Coach, what's the weather forecast going to be? Smoky and what?
Well, no. I looked at the new Farmer's Almanac, has us at 92 and sunny on August 26th.
92
and
sunny.
It's going to be a hot one.
Oh, it's going to be hot.
But it's low humidity.
Yeah,
we talked about it yesterday, yeah.
Yeah, 10% humidity.
It's only 10% humidity? What are we in?
Yeah, the dew
what are we in
pressure,
Vegas?
or the dew points or whatever are only going to be like 50. So we're good.
That's great.
Yeah.
Hey, the Flyers have started the rebuild, and there could be another major move happening. Let's talk a little bit about that and more. John Kincade Show here on 90.
Fanatic, Philadelphia.
John Kincade Show on 97.5 The Fanatic. Thanks for being with us today. You know, Colonel Season's popcorn seasoning. I saw it the other day in the store, by the way.
In the popcorn aisle?
I didn't know there was a popcorn aisle. It was the snack aisle, but I did see it. And you can turn what into what the what? Just that interesting with Colonel Seasons today available in the popcorn aisle.
So we do our shopping on Saturday morning. My wife and I will go to a couple different stores to do our food shopping for the week, right? We do it like every 2 weeks. I can't wait to go to the store and find this because I had popcorn last night with Tommy. Tommy and I had our snack. We shared some popcorn. And I was thinking of it the
Season
whole
it
time.
up.
Yeah, I want to try it.
They've got like Parmesan peppercorn, I think, and I mean they're really some really interesting like flavors.
I
there.
can't wait to give it a try.
The okay, Saturday morning. That is I saw we were just watching I guess it's like the Big Talkers on Channel 6 or whatever. You picked the second worst time to go food shopping.
You know what?
Sundays are the worst day to go food shopping.
Oh my God. Especially during Eagles season.
Sunday morning is terrible. Don't go late Sunday morning, or like right lunchtime Sunday is like the worst time to go to a food store.
Right. Well, we leave the house probably around 9:30ish on Saturday morning.
Okay.
And we go to the place where you do bulk orders. So that's where we go first.
I love that.
And get, all our meats and all that stuff because we got too many kids.
So you find the meats there good, like and everything, because we've never done
yes.
that much.
Yeah.
But you got more mouths to feed.
Yeah, we have too many mouths to feed. Trying to get rid of them, but they won't leave. So yeah, we do that first, and then we'll go to the side store, the Walmart, and get the the essentials, the staples. Yeah. So that's our Saturday morning. We're usually home by we have a little routine. It's pretty cool. While we're driving there, we call our son Kyle down in North Carolina, and we do FaceTime with him when we're driving to do our thing. And then we do our shopping, and we have a system where we self-check out at the big place, and, boom, 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 like we're competitors. But yeah, we do it. We get it all done Saturday morning. I find it to be a great time because the shelves are stocked.
Right.
And we're done by 11:30 in the morning.
I think that's a great time to go shopping because there's a wonderful radio program on 9 a.m. to noon on Saturday mornings.
You know I'm listening.
I've heard you in the Lowe's parking lot in Downingtown, the Home Depot parking lot in Downingtown.
Very big in the home improvement sections.
When we leave, we'll leave Market Street Grill. I like a Market Street Grill breakfast on Saturday morning. Then we'll roll out there and I'll hear your dulcet tones. And Christina will always say how good you guys sound.
Oh, thank you.
She likes both of your voices.
Yeah, we do have the
you have good voices.
The deep, sultry voice.
Now, Tom's got the best voice on the station, I really believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to call yours a deep
Well,
no, yours is good, though.
I think you're energetic.
Yes.
There was a day where I had gone out the night before and I had that kind of deep, raspy voice because I was talking too much at the bar. And people on YouTube kept saying it sounded like one of those late night phone call-in lines.
To me more?
Yeah.
You're a little going for it there. By the way, I'd like to thank my friend Norm Frederick, and Kelly, his wife, for sending me a new tumbler. So I got a new tumbler for the show today. It's the Corinthos Coffee.
How many tumblers is too many tumblers?
I got 15, but this is the Corinthos Coffee. Have you ever tried Corinthos Coffee?
I don't drink coffee.
You do not. I'm sure they have tea products, too.
I don't drink tea.
This is Sonny's front company on General Hospital.
Oh,
Corinthos
how did
Coffee.
I not know?
Where they actually, all the mob stuff is run through Corinthos Coffee.
You'll get there.
You'll get there.
I won't.
Not that you need coffee or whatever, but like I told you before, the first time I ever had coffee was the day Jenna was born. My daughter, I was up for 40 hours.
What made you try it?
I was up for 40 straight hours.
Literally, you just said today's the day?
Yeah, so it's weird. So it was my last child being born. So Jenna, I was 38. And I went to the hospital. I picked my son Kyle up, who was just a little kid, and we went to the hospital to see his sister for the first time. And literally, I was up for 40 straight hours, and they brought my wife her breakfast with a coffee. And I was so tired. She was like, why don't you just try, have a cup of coffee? Maybe it'll pick it. Because I still had the full day ahead of me.
And you felt it.
You took Donna's coffee? She was doing all the work.
She doesn't drink coffee. So
she didn't drink it.
Yeah, so I did. And now I do. I have a cup a day.
Yeah,
probably. On the weekend, I don't, though. On the weekend, I do tea.
Now I do one 12-ounce tea at home after this, and then one tumbler in the morning.
Nope.
Unsweet tea.
I do water, and I do tequila on the weekends.
And you should get Corinthos coffee, though, I would suggest.
You might do tequila on the weekdays once in a while.
Maybe last night at PJ Wellahans.
Oh, that's right, you did.
Hour.
Yeah. What were you having again?
A little tequila soda action.
Yeah.
You didn't do the Singapore sling?
I don't know what that is.
I've heard of it, but I don't know what it is.
I do not know what's in it. It's just I heard it yesterday and went, okay, there's something I haven't heard in a long time.
That's a great drink name.
The Singapore sling.
What about the ding-a-ling?
No,
I do not
don't really
know the
want
ding-a-ling.
One of those.
Sounds like some drinks from the movie Cocktail.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Oh, wow. Look at you,
Hey.
Coach. The bar is open.
I love Brad Pitt.
That's great. The Flyers are starting the rebuild the right way. Ivan Provorov is gone. And I've got to tell you, I'm floored that the Flyers were able to get what they got. The Flyers with picks, I mean, you're going to get, you have your first round pick. You get the 22nd pick, and you're picking up future picks, 34, 54. I mean, Danny Briere somehow finds a lot of value, and more importantly, they're stocking up on the high draft picks. So, Bob, you asked a question this morning. You're like, second-round draft pick, third-round draft pick, what is it? As the NHL right now, the percentage of players that make it to the NHL out of each draft, just so you know, first-round draft picks, 94%. Second-round draft picks, 70%. Third-round draft picks, 54%.
How many rounds does NHL go?
Oh, it goes long.
Does it? Okay.
Oh, yeah. It goes on forever. But if you have a draft pick right there, first 3 rounds, you're getting a fantastic return on your investment. In the first 3, you got a great amount of players that make it to the NHL. So when you're hearing about Danny Briere picking up picks, if he's getting first 3-round draft picks, greater 54% are going to make it to the NHL in the third round, 70% in the second round. So this is valuable. I didn't think Ivan Provorov was going to be that valuable, but that's great. And I talked to a few people around the NHL last night that there are more than multiple suitors lined up for Carter Hart. And I do believe by getting a goaltender in return from the Los Angeles Kings, who looks like he might be an extra on Sons of Anarchy, by the way, I'm thinking that maybe we're talking about a deal for Carter Hart being extremely imminent. We'll talk to Keith Jones. He won't be able to tell us if they're trading Carter Hart as he's doing the NHL Stanley Cup Finals, wrapping up his broadcasting career, hopefully permanently, that he never broadcast a game again. But to me, Bob, I'm looking at this saying, tear this thing down, do it the right way, and I love that.
Yeah, when you look at the roster, people talk about the, I don't want to say the old hats, but the Van Riemsdykes and yes. Those, get rid of the old guys. Sure, we understand that. That's a given. Get rid of those big old contracts. Try to get something for them. But you have to look deeper like these guys just did in Jones and Briere and say, all right, who has the most value? Carter Hart, as we all know, has the most value in this team, and he appears to be on the trading block. But then you look, Provorov is that guy. He's that guy. You're not going to get rid of a Lawton because you still have guys that you want to keep, that you want to build with. I don't know if they have anybody that you build around, but like the Lawtons and maybe the Konechny's are guys that you want to keep around to be those good extra pieces. Provorov, Hart, okay, that's if you're going to go deep. Those are the cards you're playing.
And I don't understand. And yesterday, it seems like now a lot more people are behind the idea of trading Carter Hart because reportedly, upper echelon teams are interested in trading for Carter Hart. Like there's when they were making it known that everybody's available, teams that are close to winning a Stanley Cup, and it's what I've always said. Carter Hart going to a team that's close to winning a Stanley Cup could be a difference maker.
And God, wouldn't you hate to see it, though?
But no, because he's not a difference maker for a team that's
neither was Bobrovsky
at the bottom of the standings. Yeah, and Bobrovsky's he's had a great playoffs. Now he's getting run. But that's watch him bounce back tonight. But I mean, it's the idea is that I'm all for it. I'm all for it, and Connor, and I've been saying it.
Yeah, this is not news to us because we know you've been on this train
since I arrived.
Yeah, really,
Since the day I arrived, I'm like, why would you do this?
I think you were on that train a little bit early. But where they've led to in the organization, and now having people in Jonesy and Danny Briere that, you trust more to kind of evaluate talent. And I know we're going to talk more about that a little bit later on. I don't know. It doesn't feel like, and it's super early to tell, right? They've basically done nothing in their current positions compared to some of the guys who are top GMs and presidents around the league. But just the feel you get is like there's not as many nerves as can you find another guy? Can you trade somebody and get good return? Can you bring in a goaltender? I don't feel that whole, oh, the Flyers will never find a goaltender type of thing that existed before Carter Hart was here.
And Bobrovsky's not he's had a great year, and he's really had a great run during this postseason. But I believe you can find goaltenders of his caliber.
Right. The Flyers haven't in the past, and I think that makes people very nervous, and I think that's why a lot of people want to hang on to Carter Hart.
See, the easiness in which you said that, I think you can find a goaltender that of his nature, a 2-time Vezina winner.
Yep.
Okay, it's been 50 years since the Flyers have been able to really do that. Like, they've had
some goaltenders. Right, exactly.
But I mean, seriously, we can name on half of one hand.
It's Pelle Lindbergh, it's Hextall, and honestly, since Hextall, has it been?
Exactly.
Other than, there's not a lot. No, there's not a lot.
So there's still, and I'll get more into this later, but there's still a tinge of me that is a little cringy about getting rid of a goalie finally, but I do understand.
I don't think you can do a rebuild halfway. Like, I don't think you can do go into a rebuild saying, yeah, but we don't want to really go all in. Where this is going all in. Provorov and if Carter Hart goes. And by the way, there is an investigation going on of that 2018 Canadian junior team that, potentially for some teams may scare them off. And not that Carter Hart's done anything wrong, but he was party to a team that got involved in a scandal that the Canadian government is looking into. And that's no aspersions on him, but it's maybe a guilt by association type of thing of that whole team has a stain on them in some way.
Well, it's something to think about for sure. Yeah, whether or not his involvement, notwithstanding, it's something that certainly comes up when you consider
bad press potentially.
Yeah, is this the guy that we're going to, young player, make our goaltender, our franchise goaltender? So, again, like you said, not necessarily on him, but something that factors in. But he's a very valuable piece to teams that are ready to compete right now, and he's a valuable piece to the Flyers. It's just, are you comfortable enough to give up a piece that you could see yourself winning with down the line to accelerate your timeline of winning?
I would just say this: is you could finish with and I don't think the Flyers' record was that. I think John Tortorella got blood from a stone this year with that roster. But you can miss the playoffs and get a really, really high draft pick without Carter Hart.
Yeah.
You didn't get anything with him. You could do it without him. And right now you need what he gets you in return. Hopefully, now that's pressure on Briere and Jones and the scouting staff, as Danny pointed out the other day, to get a damn good return for him with what you get. Which by the way, it's obvious they're going draft picks. They're building with draft picks.
And the big thing is that I think kind of sticks in the craw, Flyers fans, people around here, is now you have to find a goalie again.
Yeah. You know what? 3 years from now, they need one.
Yeah.
They need one for 3 years down the line. They don't need one for now.
No.
They don't need one. In fact, if you're trying to rebuild, it wouldn't be bad if you get good goaltending, you'd be happy with it.
I thought it was telling when Briere was on our show the other day, and he said he kept bringing up 2 goaltenders. You need 2 goaltenders in this league to compete now. It's obvious. He wasn't talking a main guy and another guy that gets you 18 to 20 a year. No, he looked like he was going 50-50, so that was kind of telling when he said that the other day.
Bob says you got to buy in. You just got to buy in. And what the PGA Tour did yesterday, seriously, disgraceful. John Kincade.
Fanatic. Now, back to the John Kincade Show on 97.5 The Fanatic, Philadelphia.
Turn on your mic, John.
Yeah, that
6:51. John Kincade Show on 97.5 The Fanatic. Bob's going to tell you to just deal with it and buy in. Coming up, what's it about? He'll tell you. Just buy in. That's what's going to be the
And I'm
message.
talking to you, Jamie Lynch.
Message of the morning. Great. Thank you, Jamie, for being there for me yesterday. Much appreciated.
And he'll be here for me on Friday.
And he'll be there for me next Wednesday when chemo starts. It's like Jamie's the jack of all trades.
He's the Sir Anthony Dominguez.
I liked what I saw Sir Anthony last night.
Yeah, he was great.
Now, whoa. You're bobbing your head. Are you bobbing your head about Jamie or Sir Anthony?
Well, Sir Anthony hasn't been all that great this year. He's been great.
Jamie hasn't been all that great. He's had some really good moments.
I think Jamie's
I think
stupendous.
Jamie's been, phenomenal.
Also,
I'd
body
say he's an
size?
all-star.
Body size.
He looks more like Jose Alvarado to me.
Yeah,
Got
he
some
does.
thickness to him.
Little thickness.
Who
Yes.
said that? We ran into a listener the other day who saw Jamie and was like, yo, dude, I guess it was yesterday. I didn't realize how big you were.
Big dude.
Oh, yeah.
Jamie's a
throw
big,
down.
now gentle giant.
He's
That's how you describe him.
It's funny. My wife texted me during the show yesterday because Jamie was saying some silly stuff of Jamie, and she's like, I just love Jamie. He is the type of guy, honestly. Like yesterday, I'm standing there. I didn't notice him walk up at PJ's, and he like, yo, and I look up. He just brings a smile to my face. Like,
He's a
he is
smiley
that
guy.
dude. Like, he's just a good dude.
Very, very good dude.
Love me some Jamie.
Yeah, we do. We enjoy
But
Jamie
I hope
Lynch.
he's not listening right now.
I hope he's not even up yet.
Oh,
So-
he's up.
Well, the Saudi royal family now has a chairman of the board position on the PGA Tour's new collaboration with the Live Golf Tour. And you'll hear from Scott Van Pelt a little bit later, but to say that I can't believe that Jay Monahan and the PGA Tour literally spent a year saying bad, and then said, no, we'll take the Saudi cash, drop it into our laps, was surprising to me. Here's a little bit of a message from yesterday.
9/11 Families United sent a letter, quote, expressing their outrage towards the golfers for participating in the new league and accusing them of sports washing and betraying the United States, end quote. How much did you talk to your players about the possible ramifications if they sign on with the new league?
Well, I talked to players. I've talked at a player meeting, and I've talked to a number of players individually. And I think you'd have to be living under a rock to not know that there are significant implications. As it relates to the families of 9/11, I have two families that are close to me that lost loved ones. And so my heart goes out to them. And I would ask any player that has left or any player that would ever consider leaving, have you ever had to apologize for being a member of the PGA Tour?
Now, that was not, excuse me, I misstated that because Scott Van Pelt's comment was from yesterday. That was the Jay Monahan's comments regarding players leaving for the Live Tour. And I would say, and I remember anytime this topic has come up, there's always some people like, oh my gosh, so many companies in America do business with the Saudis. You got to be a lot of nerve if you're worried about these guys. There's a difference between taking money directly from somebody and then using a product that somehow has some ties to the Saudi Arabian government. More importantly, the players on the PGA Tour, Scott Van Pelt summed it up perfectly last night on his SportsCenter. There's a lot of outrage going on about this.
I cannot emphasize strongly enough, it seems that nobody knew this was coming. And by nobody, I mean star players on the PGA Tour, rank and file players, agents, nobody, at least none who I spoke with or any they spoke with were aware. And I communicated with a bunch. To a man, they were shocked and angry. As one top 25 major champion told me, I literally don't have words. Lesson learned here. Take the money. Don't do the right thing. Everyone I spoke with was interested in the why and the how because it's admittedly all very interesting. But more pressing on the minds of these players from the PGA Tour is what does this even mean? What is it going to look like? And just like nobody saw any of it coming, nobody has a clue about any of those answers.
They literally gave him a chairman of the board position. Bob. in this new collaboration. They sold out. Not only did they sell out for the Saudi money, they also then gave a chairman of the board position to the Saudi royal family's money pipeline. I can't believe it now, too. Full disclosure, have direct ties to 6 different victims of 9/11. It's a personal issue with me, and it absolutely disgusts me. And if you do 10 minutes of research, you can find out that there are direct ties to the 9/11 attacks and to the people who pulled this off on these families. And I'm disgusted by it. And it appears, as Scott Van Pelt, very tightly, because he came from the Golf Channel, for those who may not know that that's where Scott came from, he has as tight a ties with anybody in the whole national media with the top names in PGA golf. Disgust is overwhelmingly the response.
Yeah, it's so strange, and I'm going to be honest here. I want to dive so much deeper into this than I have up until now. Yesterday we were busy with the PJs thing and all that stuff, so I really want to dive in deeper. My biggest question right up front was the PGA suffering before the LIV Tour?
No.
Was there ever money problems when guys are winning, $2 million in majors, all the fandom that is out there? I went to an event this year and saw how crazy fandom is when I went to Waste Management out in Arizona. We all know the crowds that they get, the interest that there is. Were they in a bad spot before LIV came? Now, LIV came around and said, money, 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 here it is. And my reaction at that time was, wow, these guys are leaving for unbelievable amounts of money, but was the money and the tour run that badly that they had to do something like this?
These guys didn't want to sing for their supper. With the LIV Tour, show up. If you participate in the event, you get paid a set amount. On the PGA Tour, you compete to win. How much your check is how well you play. There's a big difference. But the biggest difference with this whole LIV Tour thing is go watch the video of the LIV Tour events. There's like 25 people around the tee boxes.
And
it's pathetic. Nobody's watching these clowns. And there's a reason that it's been rejected. Because there's some of the greatest golfers in the world are a part of it. But there's a reason that the tour's been rejected. Because people don't want to be a party to it. There are tee boxes where you watch at these LIV events, and if there's 20 people, that's a lot at some of them. It's incredible.
Yeah, I didn't have the interest because I didn't like that guys left for what seemed to be just the money, and didn't have. I kind of liked the stance that Rory McIlroy took, saying, "Look, we all played golf to get into the PGA. Nobody ever complained about the PGA." And I'm being honest here, and I'm asking this question to try to cover up my own ignorance. Did you guys ever hear PGA players complain about the PGA Tour before LIV?
Only Mickelson. Mickelson had issues with different things about the tournament.
And I got to tell you, I follow sports as much as anybody, and I do like golf. And I don't even remember Mickelson talking about it all that much. If he did say it, you read things that I didn't see. I don't. It's not in my memory bank of players complaining about the PGA Tour. Then another thing comes along where they're paying them all this money. Okay, people can understand capitalism. I'm going to go take the money and run. Okay, that's your choice. We can agree or disagree on it or whatever. And now all of a sudden the PGA is just like, we need the money, so we're going to collaborate with them.
It's incredible.
They didn't hold a stance at all.
Phil Mickelson,
and they made themselves look stupid.
Phil Mickelson broke away from the PGA, and one of the reasons he did it is because of the fact that he didn't have access to his own highlights. Remember that whole thing? He wanted to market his...
Yeah.
And he wasn't allowed to use highlights because the PGA's property. So that was where Mickelson's fight with the PGA came from. He wanted to be able to use sort of like his name, image, likeness. He didn't want the PGA Tour to be able to use it to make money when he couldn't personally use it to make money.
Yeah.
So it was almost like the same collegiate athlete thing. Name, image, likeness with the PGA Tour. That's where his fight came from.
Yeah, and Mopar says on our YouTube channel, it's the good old boys club of the PGA. Okay, I hear you, and I'm not here backing the PGA. I'm just saying it's odd in that my multiple years of following golf and the PGA and all that never. Now you did see Mickelson say some things.
Yeah, Mickelson said it over and over. That was his fight against the PGA.
Right.
He wanted to have his own app. Remember, he wanted to have his own app.
Yeah.
And all that kind of stuff.
And I hear you on that, and that's great and all, but where would you put the percentage of complaining by players about the PGA?
I don't think small. I think very small.
I know. So
most of them aren't paying off massive gambling debts, though, too.
Right. I mean, this was an avenue that you went. Look, the PGA Tour has some huge downfalls as far as commitment to people, let's say, around the world, but it was the place where players wanted to be as professional golfers. And I didn't hear complaints about it. Now this LIV comes along, and the PGA just totally gives in to them.
Terrible.
It's very strange.
It's a
like I said, I have to educate myself more on it. But on the surface, to me, it's very, very strange.
Hey, the all-new BetParx app, sportsbook and casino in one sleek, easy-to-use app in Pennsylvania and New Jersey. You'll love the BetParx app. You can bet on Game 3 of the finals coming up tonight in the NBA. Have a chance to get a wager in on that one. All right, in Cooney's Corner, Bob says you got to buy in. You just have to.
Now, let's see what's in Cooney's Corner.
We were dead set against this 2 weeks ago. We talked about it. We made all the great points. I still think we're correct on it in the way we go about being against this.
Okay.
But it's what's best. And, John, you got to buy in. I don't care what you say. You have to be like the PGA Tour and
so
just
I got to buy in. Well, I'm not taking blood money from terrorists, but let's hear a little bit more.
Kyle Schwarber has to be your leadoff hitter for the Philadelphia Phillies. I don't know why. I don't know what it is.
If you can't tell me why, I can't say yes.
Well, I'll tell you why.
Okay, tell me why.
65 and 46 last year. 4 out of 5 this year. I don't know why. The numbers say no. I hear it all the time, and I agree with it. But for some reason, this team plays better when Kyle Schwarber is leading off a baseball game.
Here's what I would say to his point, Connor. That's like saying Bob went and had lunch with Rock and Glenn and PJ's Wings, and the Phillies won last night. And the last 5 times he's had lunch at PJ's, they've won. So you got to keep going going to PJ's for lunch is a great idea, but you got to go to PJ's. It doesn't tell you why they won.
You understand who you're throwing that to, right? I'm wearing a stupid Hawaiian shirt for the 4th day in a row because they've been winning. I don't know. It's just one of those things.
That thing's going to hang itself up.
Right. Now, obviously, Kyle Schwarber has a little bit more impact than PJ's Wings or the shirt does, but it's working. I get what Bob's saying. You don't change it.
It's 117 games with him leading off, and they're 70 and 47.
Okay.
I know the numbers don't make sense. I know look, you and I sat here and laid out all the reasons he shouldn't be leading off. We've made our lineup saying this is what they should be, and none of us had Schwarber leading off when you get a Trey Turner, and now you have a Bryson Stott hitting the way he is. None of us believe in it. But 70 and 47 is the evidence you need and you have to take with you. I don't know why, but you have to keep at it. You have to.
Numbers don't mean anything to me unless you can tell me what the number tangibly produced. I don't know what him batting leadoff, what that makes everybody else better. I don't buy it. I don't, and the numbers aren't there to show it. He's still batting terribly.
It's funny. Jamie was saying much of the same thing you did yesterday, and while I was on your side last week, and I still don't. 70 and 47 is all I need to see. We can talk about an on-base percentage of 320 or a batting average that's in the 170s, and he clogs up the bases because he's not fast. And I agree with all that. I do. I absolutely do. You have to lead him off. You got to buy in, John. 70 and 47 is over a 600 winning percentage. Yep. You have to do it.
I don't. It's not going to convince me to do something just because of the record that it produced. Because I don't believe.
That's all that matters.
Because I don't think it produced the record. I don't think it's because Kyle Schwarber was batting leadoff that they won those games. I do believe Kyle Schwarber put this team across his broad shoulders for around 3 weeks last summer, and really helped them with an incredible launch of month of home runs, which, by the way, seems to be nice and warm this year, too.
Oh, June is his month. There's no question about it. And Jamie made the point yesterday. Okay, you're getting June Schwarber. That doesn't mean anything. Okay, I hear you. And look, I'm on your side. I don't think he's a leadoff hitter, the prototypical leadoff hitter. But for some reason, this team wins. And if it's a confidence thing, whatever it may be, you're at a point right now with this team that you have to do whatever it takes to win games. And 70 and 47
is wild.
Says
That's
me,
a wild number.
I'll do that to win games.
Hey, with Colonel Season's popcorn seasoning, you can turn what you got into what the what. Just add interesting. With Colonel Seasons today available in the popcorn aisle. By the way, the Fanatic Deal of the Week is still available for you for a limited time. Get 1 day, same day ride and water park ticket to Maury's Piers, all three of them, for $70. Unlimited rides on all three piers. Access to both water parks. You can check it out now at 97.5thefanatic.com. Keyword deal. Get your combo ticket before they're gone. Supplies extremely limited. Very limited there. So make sure that you do that there.
Get on it.
Are
you still? So you're still against Schwarber leading off, and I understand it.
No, I just don't think it doesn't make logical sense to me.
It really doesn't,
and it doesn't. It would be like every day that we have an afternoon thunder shower, the Phillies win. There's no correlation.
There isn't, but after 117 times it happening.
You'd be doing that.
We have a guy in there wearing the same shirt every day for crying out loud because he wants them to win, and he's wearing it after every win.
Look, I love the idea of that kind of support, but it does not affect the outcome of the game is not being affected by him batting leadoff.
The other way hasn't worked.
I got to disagree with you respectfully. I don't agree with it. I don't like Schwarber being a leadoff hitter. But God, when you break down all the numbers to tell me why he doesn't belong there, and I agree with, the biggest number is 70 and 47. It just is. All right, put it this way. P.J. Tucker being in the starting lineup. I've said to you, I can't have that anymore. He doesn't do anything but give you energy. He doesn't score. He doesn't, this, that, the other. You put a guy in there that averages 20 a game for him, and you say, well, he's more productive than him. Okay, but then P.J. Tucker, when he's on the floor, the team goes 70 and 47 starting a game. When he's not starting a game and they go 50 and 50, I got to start him.
But it's like saying the last 10 people who ordered a chicken sandwich, that they had heart attacks within a year.
No, it'd have to be 117 people.
So you just go, because there's only a difference of 23, right? There really is a difference of wins and losses by 23 or something.
That's a good amount, though.
So you just say is there's not a correlation. The chicken sandwich didn't give you a heart attack. It's just coincidentally someone had a chicken sandwich and they had a heart attack.
I don't know that we can say there's not a correlation. I can say that there's a lot of evidence to the contrary. But
you think anybody else in the lineup is going, damn, man, we got Schwarber back where he needs to be. I feel more confident now in the 2-hole, the 4-hole, the 5-hole.
You know what?
No.
What I lean towards it being, I don't think it's that, but I think Kyle Schwarber is a hole in the lineup. He can hit home runs, but if he's going to hit below 200, he's going to be the worst average hitter on this team. And the leadoff spot is kind of separate. Like, you get him out there, he doesn't have to worry about base runners. He doesn't worry about people hitting behind him. It's just you start the game, Kyle, and then we go into our lineup. And maybe having him on that island where he can just be Schwarber, and then you don't have to worry about, I don't know, two guys get on and you have a guy hitting 170. Maybe that plays into it. I don't know. It doesn't make as much baseball sense as Trey Turner leading off or Bryson Stott leading off, but there has to be something to it because it works.
Well, no, they've just won.
Right, it works.
Well, that's all it's about.
But I know, but if you can't tell me why it works, which no one can.
Listen, John, you're a big Jimmy Garoppolo guy.
Yes.
He wins. I can't point to anything in that guy's game that says he should win as much as he does, but he wins. I don't know. It'd be smart to start.
Yeah, but you can point to it and go, he hadn't had a bunch of turnovers.
Kyle Schwarber hits a bunch of home runs.
And he's went out there. But it's been direct. He's directly throwing touchdown passes. He's directly not turning the ball over. It's completely different than a guy. Jimmy Garoppolo's numbers would be among the worst starters in the NFL at quarterback.
Well, you're proving our point.
If you're doing that.
You're proving our point with that. So Garoppolo doesn't have great numbers, but for some reason the team wins.
No,
right?
his numbers aren't bad. Jimmy Garoppolo's numbers aren't bad,
but they're
he's
not. They're not
Patrick
somewhat
Mahomes,
that,
but he's
that
he's
equates to going to NFC championships. They're just not. I mean, they're
he's
a little bit
Alex
above
Smith.
mediocre.
He's
Right.
Alex Smith. He's
Okay.
a good quarterback that wins.
Kyle Schwarber is a decent leadoff hitter that the team wins when he does it.
But the numbers aren't good.
It doesn't matter. The numbers are 70 and 47.
No, the team numbers are. His numbers aren't.
That's Jimmy Garoppolo.
No, his numbers aren't terrible like
I'm not
that.
saying
That's textbook
terrible.
Jimmy
I'm not
Garoppolo.
saying
No,
terrible.
Kyle Schwarber's numbers are terrible.
The team wins when Jimmy Garoppolo is the quarterback. The team wins when Kyle Schwarber is your leadoff hitter.
You want to get in on this, you can. 610-632-0975. No, it's interesting.
Like,
it
it's
is.
just a great conversation.
Let's see what Josh in New York has to say. Josh, what's going on, buddy? Josh.
I just want to jump back to. Hey,
Sure.
guys.
Hey, buddy.
I want to jump back to Liv for. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello? Hey, want to jump back to Liv for a second. Big golf fan, and I've been reading a lot, and it's abhorrent what they're doing. But there was an article I read late last night that basically alluded that Liv and Saudi's goal was really to bleed them, and they were on the verge of bankruptcy due to all the legal costs. They took cash advances from all the networks, all the tournament sponsors, and in about a year or two, the PGA wouldn't be able to exist financially, and the Saudis have billions and billions.
Well, it wouldn't surprise it wouldn't surprise me if they were using their money to try to do something like that. That doesn't surprise me at all. I don't believe that at all. The Live
not
Golf,
a little bit.
The Live Golf Tour couldn't even get eyeballs on any of their events.
You really think
they're like nobody's watching the Live Golf Tour,
and as I
or
said,
going to the events. By the way,
right? I have to educate myself on this a lot more. But really, do you believe the PGA Tour was going to be bankrupt in a couple of years?
I do not. Do I believe that they could have been made far less profitable? Well, yeah, if they were stealing away advertisers, they weren't. Nobody's watching the Live Tour. Nobody watches it. The Gilmore Girls, how about this one for you? Do you know the Gilmore Girls and Charmed? This was a great one I saw yesterday. They rerun Gilmore Girls and Charmed, two horrid television shows.
Those are classics.
On reruns.
Never seen one episode of either one.
They get better TV ratings than the Live Golf Tour.
Charmed is a banger. Love
Charmed's terrible.
But take the
Alyssa Milano, right?
I don't know.
And they're all witches or something?
Yeah, they do some type of magic.
Yeah, they're witches.
Take the Live out of the equation for now and keep the players that you took. Was the PGA Tour really in that much trouble?
Absolutely not.
Bankrupt in a couple of years?
No.
Like I
absolutely.
said, I got to educate myself, but that would shock me.
Hey, we're learning more about Sean Desai, the new Eagles defensive coordinator. We'll talk about what his teaching philosophy is and more. John Kincade Show on 97.5.
to the John Kincade Show on 97.5 The Fanatic, Philadelphia.
Thanks so much for hanging out with the John Kincade Show on 97.5 The Fanatic. Keith Jones, Flyers president, joins us at 8:30. Adam Schefter at 8:20. It's going to be a busy 8 o'clock hour, around an hour from now. Thanks for being a part of everything we've got going on here at the John Kincade Show. Much appreciated. We're learning a little bit more. I saw a piece from my buddy Jeff Kerr, CBS Sports, writing about Sean Desai and his philosophy for the Eagles defense. And he had a chance, Jeff from CBS had a chance to talk to Nicholas Morrow. It says that Sean Desai's new defense is the most he's learned situationally in his career. That this is a man that in 6 weeks, talking to Morrow about it, he says it's situational awareness and it's constant quizzing. He said, across my 7-year career, it's the most I've learned about NFL football in a situational sense in my entire career under Desai. What they've been doing. It's obvious that the defensive players have been doing a lot on site to be able to learn things. He says in team meetings, away from team meetings, every time we're in a group together, we have to be asked a question and everybody's responsible to understand what's going on in a game. So you're constantly being quizzed. Do you know where you're supposed to be? Let's put this situation in front of you, this situation in front of you. And he says you got to learn new techniques. And you have to realize that at any moment you may be put on the spot to be able to explain why you're doing something and talk about it. I really like it. I mean, I got to see the defense play. Obviously got to see a lot more than just hearing about the teaching methods. But I do like it, the idea that everybody's constantly sort of being quizzed. What do you know? What do you know about it?
That's what they have to do right now, right? Because they're not getting on the field. So you have to get the mental aspect of it all down. And you have a new defensive coordinator. So his style is different than what it is. Maybe, just maybe, this comes into the thinking of Nick Sirianni where he says, all right, we're not going to do on-the-field stuff as much as other teams, but we're going to be in the classroom maybe more than other teams. We want you to learn, take this all in, and then know it when you get out on the field. Now, it's two different things. I can look at a play, I don't know, say as a basketball player, football player, I can look at a play 100 times, or you tell me how to run it 100 times.
You're talking on tape, or like in a tape session or something?
Tape session, tell me in my mind what I'm doing, draw it up, all that stuff. But it doesn't come to fruition until you get out on that field, court, whatever it may be. I like the fact that they can, and when I saw this yesterday, I really did. I love that we've talked about them not being on the field, but it seems like going to the mental aspect of it a lot more.
By the way, I had a text from a PGA professional.
What do you say, Tiger?
A teaching pro in the area.
We had a teaching pro call us yesterday.
And did he on this issue, or was it on Connor's swing?
It was about,
he was offering his assistance.
No. So Connor said that if he played Rory McIlroy and Rory was blindfolded but had a caddy that could set him up and everything like that, Connor said that he would beat Rory McIlroy in a round of golf. And we all said no damn way. We had a professional call and say and laugh at Connor and say, yeah. No,
the putting's still iffy.
It's not.
It is.
I thought about this a lot yesterday. If his caddy
lines you up.
Caddy lines him up and says it's going left to right. It's about an 8-foot break. I'm going to line you up where to hit it. It's a 22-footer. They could hit it within a foot of the
What
cup.
if the caddy's drunk?
Don't you remember?
He'd have to be for you to win.
See, someone brought that up, and I said that's a damn movie. You're going to bring up Chevy Chase. I'm winning the argument.
You don't believe that actually exists? Because I've seen people do that. I have seen people walk around doing the like good golfers that can do one-handed swings with their putter and put it in.
I think Rory and most pros could beat all of us playing the opposite hand also.
I believe
think if you played
Rory
that could be too. Left-handed.
Yeah.
But I don't think he'd have any trouble beating you blindfolded.
The eyes are important. But anyway, John, you were saying you got the text.
Let's see. And the text just laughed at the idea the PGA Tour was a year from bankruptcy. He said, for God's sakes, the war chest, I'm going to read it directly, is the war chest that the PGA has built up over time. More importantly, the real estate that they hold, the events they get to cover, the events that they have ticket sales for, marketing for, sales for, they control all the cards except for the majors. which then have their own autonomy.
Yeah, whenever I thought of the PGA Tour, money is right behind my thought.
Rudy in Drexel Hill joins us. Rudy, good morning. You're on the Fanatic. How are you, buddy?
Oh, hold on.
Okay.
How you doing, John?
Good, Rudy. What's going on, buddy?
Good. So there's definitely a correlation between the Phillies winning and
Schwarber batting leadoff?
Correlation doesn't mean causation, though.
No, it
just
doesn't.
means there's an association there.
That's it, but it's a mythical association that is created.
I don't think it is.
Yeah, but the correlation is the association that someone mentally creates where Connor thinks it's one thing, Bob can think it's another, I can think it's another.
Right, but what I'm saying is I believe that the team feels this confidence. And whether it's real or not, you can argue that. But they feel like when he leads off, he hits that home run. Hey, we're in the lead. Now we got this. It's like, and I think there's more to that than you think.
I got to tell you that you said it with confidence. I think that, you said the team feels when he gives them the I do not believe the team is saying, man, get Schwarber back in the leadoff spot, Rob. Come on, man. Like Connor, you know from covering this team. Yeah. I do not believe that exists at all. That is mythical.
I don't think that's it, but it's something, right? Like I think
they love Kyle Schwarber.
Yeah. I'd love this question to be asked because I don't know that people are looking into it this way. I know this is a question, but it's still super new that Kyle Schwarber's been in the leadoff spot this year, and we're starting to see it develop. Someone's got to go ahead and ask, like, what is it about Kyle Schwarber batting leadoff that helps his team so much? Because it could be a thing where the guys say, oh, he makes the lineup fit better that way. Mentally, we feel better with him at the leadoff. I don't know. There's something to it. But I don't think it's that the players have more confidence because he's there.
I absolutely think that is true. That none of them are going, oh, God, thank God, Kyle's back at leadoff. Now we're all together. But maybe for Kyle, they look at it as he likes being there.
Yeah, but there's something to it. I mean, if I'm a backup catcher and I'm the head of the cheerleading squad on the bench and Schwarber goes back to the leadoff spot and you win 4 in a row with him there, and you look around and you go, hey, guys, this is pretty familiar, isn't it? Remember? We went to the World Series like this last year. Positive effect, it seems to have some of that, yes.
I absolutely.
Is it tangible? Is it something you can put your hands around? No,
it's not.
But it's real. 70 and 47 says it's real.
Let's see what Sean in Philadelphia has to say. Sean, good morning. You're on the Fanatic. How are you, buddy?
Hey, John. How are you?
Good to have you on.
All right. My thinking behind it is when he was in the middle, he was straining people on base. So he was killing drives. You would have one man on, he strikes out, then you can get a double play. You have one out, he strikes out, and now a sac fly doesn't work. When he's batting first, besides the first inning, he's only leading off once. After that, he's down there with 7, 8, and 9. So he's not killing their production.
So he gets less ducks on the pond to be productive when he hits home runs. He had 31 solo shots last year.
Yeah, he hits a lot of solo shots, but he's not killing everyone else. When he was at like 5th, the people behind him were producing, people in front of him were producing, but he wasn't because he keeps striking the heck out.
See, I think he was still having production, Connor. Was he not?
He was, but I think
it wasn't as big as people were wanting it to be.
No. When you have a guy batting like 170, though, at the top of the lineup as opposed to in the middle of the lineup, there are less opportunities, like he was just talking about leaving people, stopping momentum of the team. It's harder for him to stop the team's momentum from the leadoff spot when he's kind of on that island where it's just like you start the game and then we'll get into it. Also, what it could be, he's not an average hitter. Like, he does not hit for average.
No.
And we thought, even with the shift being banned, okay, maybe you'll have a better year.
I can't believe that he isn't, by the way.
Very clear that
I absolutely cannot.
But my thought is that maybe when he sees runners on, maybe when he has guys on base, part of his approach is to try and hit for average, and he just doesn't. And when he goes up lead off, he's just like, I can just do what I want to do. I don't know. I'm putting pieces together to try and find something that exists.
I think it's inexplicable. I really do. I don't think there's a rhyme, there's a reason, there's numbers, whatever, that says this guy is a leadoff hitter.
Okay, what else do you do?
But my God, the team wins when he leads off.
Okay, what else do you do in baseball? If you're Rob Thompson, if you're a pitching coach, if you're a batting coach, What else do you ever do in baseball where you can say, we're going to do this, but I can't explain to you why it works? Every single other thing that is done is we bat this guy here because logically it tells us this. I honestly believe this. If you're telling me that you want Kyle Schwarber there because you're trying to get your best players, now many teams will say we want our best player to have the most at-bats, then Bryce Harper should bat leadoff. But if you put Kyle Schwarber in leadoff, Bryce Harper should be your leadoff hitter then. Well, by the same logic, he should be.
That's not really logical either, because we looked at plate appearances last year, and Kyle Schwarber and Rhys Hoskins, because they played the same amount of games, was off by
20?
4.
Was it 4?
Or 6 or so. It was some really low number throughout a whole season. I hear you. You know what? You know why I kind of am arguing for this now is because the guy sitting in that chair right next to me the other day, Tim Kirkjian, and he really sat in my head with his baseball talk because he's so great at it.
He's awesome.
His overall, if you just did the overall view of what he said to us the other day, is baseball doesn't make sense.
No, and it
just doesn't make sense. So it doesn't make sense with the numbers that Kyle Schwarber throws out there that he's a leadoff hitter. It screams for him not to be a leadoff hitter. But it doesn't make sense. So we can argue and we're not even arguing.
No. It's a good debate.
It's a great conversation. I don't know. I can't sit here and tell you why, except for the 70 and 47 that I keep throwing out there. They win when he leads off. Maybe it's a last-ditch effort to try to get this team to win. And if that's the case, well, they're doing it. You want to make the case also, they've played nothing but bad teams over the last 5 games. You're right on that, too. But I don't know why the Phillies win when this guy leads off.
Well, last year the Phillies beat up on a lot of bad teams in order to get to the postseason.
You have to.
And you do it, and they did it at a much better pace than they did in previous years. So I'm all for that, Connor. I want that shirt. I want that shirt to be threadbare by October.
Oh, it won't be. This is a quality shirt.
But it's one thing, though, right? Because once they lose, then you have to stop it, bring it back later.
No, I'll wear it the day after they win. Every day after they win. So it's not just the winning streak thing. I'm going to be wearing this shirt a lot.
So it's not just the streak?
No, it's after they win.
They're not going to win forever. I think when the streak is broken, you wait for the next streak to begin, don't you?
Nah, after wins. We need every win. They don't have to win 15 in a row, but if they win 10 out of 15, I'm good. What if they alternate, though? Then I'm never going to wear the shirt. They might not get hot ever again.
But your shirt wearing is after a win.
Yes.
So you're not wearing it to get the team to win. So it's kind of like
a celebration.
Yeah, you're in a good spot.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
2 things is there a that is interesting here is that we're rooting like hell for the Braves this week. We're rooting for the Braves because the Braves are playing the Mets.
Yeah.
And last night, did you see Jughead Pete Alonso?
Yeah, throw it again.
He's taunting the Braves starter, saying, throw it again, throw it when they're up 4-1. And, of course, then the Braves come back and kick their ass like they tend to do. And the Mets once again go down. The Mets never learn. They never learn. They're a bunch of a-holes. They really are. They're just a bunch of Jughead a-holes. And they're trying to clown the Braves last night up 4-1, and they end up losing again.
Yeah, I don't like that team at all. I don't
gosh, Pete Alonso I've had enough of.
No, like the Braves, some individual players I enjoy. Like I think Matt Olson's a really fun player. Like I think they have some starters that I love Spencer Strider. The Mets, I don't know. Pete Alonso rubs me the wrong way.
Whoa.
What?
You love Spencer Strider?
Of course he does.
Yeah.
Of course Connor would like Strider.
That is the most obvious statement you maybe have ever made because he wears tight pants and has a bad mustache.
Listen, this is not. I'm talking about the way he pitches.
No,
That's
you're
not the point of the statement.
No, you're not.
You love the whole Spencer Strider.
I do. Yeah,
presentation.
His taste in music's terrible, but
that's a good word.
He likes the presentation of the brand of Spencer Strider.
My point is, I don't like anybody on the Mets. Like all of those guys just rub me the wrong way. It's not because of the uniform they wear; it's the way they act. Like Jeff McNeil is annoying.
Oh my gosh,
Pete Alonso's
Nimmo,
annoying.
Brandon Nimmo,
Scherzer annoys me. Super hardo.
They're just so annoying. It's an annoying team, and they crow about everything.
Yeah.
Even in the middle of games when against a team that consistently kicks their ass. The Phillies obviously can't find a way to beat the lousy-ass Mets, which I don't understand.
Inexplicable. That's
I don't
baseball.
understand.
That's
No.
why Kyle Schwarber's leading off.
It's pathetic.
It's inexplicable.
All right, we're going to see this in a couple weeks when the Mets come in. We'll see if they finally can beat them. Joe in Bordentown. Joe, where's Bordentown?
Hey, how's it going?
It's in Jersey, Burlington County.
Yeah, Burlington County.
Okay.
To Hamilton.
Oh, okay. I know Hamilton. Okay.
Yep.
206.
There you go.
Yep.
What you got going on this morning, Joey?
So, I agree with the whole idea of Schwarber batting leadoff. Just because, like I said, they're winning. I feel like in any sport, you kind of see the same thing with like Brock Purdy last year. Even though the 49ers kind of have a history of winning, but in different sport. But like, there's not always a rhyme or reason to the winning. But if they are winning, you kind of just have to roll with it. And it seems like the 49ers are going to do that again this year, where they're kind of saying that Purdy's maybe a starter and everything like that. But a question for you is, it seems like you're kind of siding more with the analytics side of it, where
Well, I'm saying that the logic is you want the guy who is like you want Kyle Schwarber to bat leadoff. I know what logic is. I would say, okay, if we're going to go with that, I want the best player to get the most at bats, and that's Bryce Harper.
Gotcha, and that I feel like does make sense. But I mean, if you're winning the other way, wouldn't you rather have the wins?
I'd have to see that I need to have proof that says the reason I'm winning is because of the fact that I'm batting this guy leadoff. Not that coincidentally, when he bats leadoff and goes 1 for 9 over 2 games or whatever it is, and hits a home run, they happen to win. I just can't. I need more, but that's me. That's how my brain works, though. My brain is so stupidly numbers wise. No, but it is though.
So
my
Joe,
brain's very number wise.
Joe, this is the most unanalytical move that there probably is, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and believe me, you're never going to find me going with the analytics stuff. I'm not a analytics that there isn't a role for it, but I like the organizations that believe in analytics but aren't ruled by it.
But you're a logic guy. You're a numbers guy.
Yes.
Like, I'm a vibes guy. And Kyle Schwarber just being leadoff, I don't know. It's a vibe for the Phillies right now.
Well,
it works.
Well, it's like when Alex Anthopoulos got hired in Atlanta, take over. The interim manager was Brian Snitker. And Snitker's son was the analytics guy for the Astros. And he literally said when they had their first meeting together, Anthopoulos and Snitker, he says, I know you're a guy that really believes in analytics and everything. And he goes, and I'm just going to tell you, I can't manage a game by analytics. I'm not going to be able to do that. I'm not sure this is going to be a good mix. And he went, why do you think I want you to manage a game that way? He goes, the players love you. I want you to manage. He goes, I want you to not deny analytics. I want you to take it into consideration and then manage. You still manage the game, but I want you using the analytics information in your head so at least we can be able to discuss those things. He gave him a contract, let him stick around, and it all worked out. They won a World Series and more. I mean, I think that there's a happy medium to it, but I need to know why something's doing it. If someone says to me, I want you to, I'm asking the doctors and nurses questions about everything.
Yeah.
But I'm following everything they're telling me to do. But I need to know why I'm doing it.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. Doctors and nurses know a bunch of stuff, but every once in a while, there's a medical marvel where something happens and they're like, we can't explain it, but this person's okay.
But it's the simplest of answers. Why are you doing it? Because we win.
Well,
I mean,
it's the follow-up, though. No, that's simple, but the follow-up is, why do you win? And your answer is, I don't care. Like,
exactly.
And that doesn't compute with John. And it doesn't compute with a lot of people. And that's fine. I mean, I imagine we're going to get closer to an answer as the year goes on, but it's why we're in such a weird spot right now with this team.
By the way, Katie has a child in the car heading to the last day of school tomorrow.
Oh, congrats.
And Katie says, do me a favor, lighten up on the FU5. She goes, I understand we all want to say FU to cancer, but like lighten up on that. I'm like, that's really what it's called.
It's just 2 letters.
And she apologized back. She goes, oh, I thought you were saying that's what it was. I said, no, it's actually called FU5 chemotherapy. And she was like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean. But she's just like, lighten up on the FU5. She said, I guess her son repeated it
Or
like
daughter.
Little Jimmy's got to
no,
learn
her son.
sometime.
No, her
Oh,
son. His
son?
son. Yeah,
Okay.
he's wearing today's field day.
Field day was awesome.
Field day, you get to get out and play all
kidding me?
day.
Go
This might
outside
shock
all
you
day?
guys. I was a field day monster.
Oh, I would
back in
only
the day.
imagine.
Oh my God.
Hey, Coach, is it Cam's last day today or tomorrow?
No, his last day is Monday.
So his last day is Monday.
Yeah, but he has the field trips this week.
Where's
And,
the field trip this week? What's the latest one?
This week on Friday, how about Citizens Bank Park?
Oh, that's awesome.
That's very cool. I tried to be a field trip dad for that.
And
I was too late. All the class moms took all the spots.
by the way, the Phillies, I heard, are going to be interviewing all of Cam's class to see if they can replace John Brazier. They're going to see if one of the kids can take Brazier's spot.
How would you like to be
Fun
the
and
leader of
games.
fun and games?
I mean, I think that little kids love fun and games. Brazier has the mentality of like a young, spirited middle schooler. I think that's probably what they're doing. They'll probably John Middleton will probably be out there going, "Hey, kid, what's your name?" "I'm Connor. I'm 9 years old."
That's what he sounds like.
It's like, I'm Connor.
Or I'm 28. Why did I say I'm 18?
I don't know.
I don't even know how old I
Why
am.
did you say you're 18 other
I
than
don't
your
know.
dating profile online?
I had a brain fart. No, that's not true.
I mean, seriously. That is a, by the way, so I have to ask you one thing. So yesterday, there was I was getting ready for the, to have the whole procedure get done on me. And I was humming the Succession theme, which I can't watch an episode of Succession, and Bob hasn't watched it yet.
No.
But Bob, the theme to Succession is one of the greatest musical scores I've ever heard for a television show. I think it's fantastic, and it fits the show perfectly. So I'm humming the Succession theme, and the nurse goes, "Are you humming Succession?" And I said, "Yes." And she goes, "Don't tell me anything. I haven't gotten to the end of it yet." I said, "Well, I haven't gotten to the end of it either, but the theme doesn't give anything away." And she goes, "It's a long theme. My husband listens to the whole thing, and I'm always telling him, you can fast forward, you can skip it." I never skip it. I watch it all the way, and it's like around 1:15.
Wow, that is.
But there's like some crazy, but it's a long theme song. It's not step by step, the longest theme song in the history of television, but it's long. And she said she tells him to fast forward. I said, I think you're either one of two people. You're a person who watches theme songs or doesn't. When you watch an old episode of Cheers, let's say Cheers was on your TV and you got the.
Well, I love that song. So
would you listen to the whole thing every time?
Yeah. On Cheers, I would, but no.
Other shows you do not.
No.
I am always a theme song person.
I think we knew that about
every
you.
single
That's a
one. But you do. But every single time I have to listen to the theme song.
I'm a theme song guy too.
Behind the scenes for people there, if we mention a show from the 80s, 90s,
oh my gosh,
I mean, John automatically starts singing the theme to
I
it.
know all the theme songs to every single show.
Yeah.
I just listen to them because people put hard work into them. If I skip it, I'm just like, there was a guy who wrote that or a lady who wrote that.
So you're trying to show appreciation for their work.
Absolutely. It's there for a reason. It's part of the show. If it wasn't, they wouldn't have it.
Okay, so I'm being asked here by Dennis. So you're telling me if you watch an episode of Friends, you listen to the theme song every time? Every time.
Yeah, of course. You got to get the clap in. Come on.
And every time I do the clap.
No one told you that.
Every time I do.
And for those that are thinking John doesn't do it, let me just tell you that we watch the news in the morning before we go on air.
But I don't whistle.
Whistles,
No, I do not anymore.
Used to. Yeah, whistle. I think after 50 dirty looks that I gave him, he stopped. Whistle as loudly as possible the theme to action. Now, why are you doing that?
I can't blame him.
It
That's
is my because you accused me of doing it. And I haven't done it for at least 8 months.
No,
at least
didn't
8
accuse
months.
you. I said you used to do it.
I stopped doing it. I stopped doing it for Bob. But in our home, I have to hear the Action News theme every single time, and I never fast forward through it. In fact, at the end of General Hospital, they go right from tomorrow's General Hospital. They go right into the 4:00 Action News theme. I have to watch it on the DVR, even if it's like 7:30 at night. I have to watch the opening of the Action News.
And you're bragging about this.
It's a psychosis. It's there. I'm
How
owning
are
it.
things in your
I'm owning
town that you want to live in?
I'm owning it in Port Charles. I mean,
Yeah.
it could very well. I'd move to Port Charles tomorrow, and I'd have Corinthos coffee every morning. That's what I would do. I really would.
What character would you be in a soap opera?
He's going to be the character that has to break.
I'd have to be I'd be a Quartermain.
You're such a stickler.
I'd be a Quartermain. I'd be trying to take control of ELQ. Hey, Adam Schefter joins us next hour. Keith Jones joins us next hour. And everybody has begged for this for years. You're finally getting it. John Kincade Show, 97.5.
back to the John Kincade Show on 97.5 The Fanatic, Philadelphia.
Hey, be sure to join 97.5 The Fanatic in Clearwater Beach for a perfect long September weekend when the Birds play the Bucks on Monday Night Football. Reserve your spot now with a small deposit at phillysportstrips.com. Philly Sports Trips, where you can travel with the pros. So I found that so my buddy Mark, who was here for open house the other day, our next door neighbor, sends me a note, and he's this Nicholas Breitel. He created the theme for Succession, and he's a former Wall Street guy. Turned composer.
Interesting.
And Liv can now play it on her keyboard. Like that just is. And Christina's like, oh my God, you guys with that theme song. It's just, Bob, I think you'd love it. I think you'd love the show. Because it's a chess match type of show. It's not easy. It's not always an easy watch.
No,
because they're terrible to each other.
How many seasons is it?
4.
Okay.
39 episodes.
All right. And how long are the episodes? Like an hour each?
An hour to an hour and 10.
Okay,
Something like that.
I could probably do that.
Yeah, I think you'd really enjoy it too. But it's not uplifting. They're terrible to each other.
Well, yeah, that's right. I just got done got caught up on Yellowstone. They're not real good people either.
They're nice to you either. Here, let's hear a little bit of it. Bob, judge this. Just think, this is a show about a family of immense wealth.
I can get into this. It's no Game of Thrones.
Oh, I think it's... Well, no, this isn't make-believe.
I don't think you can dance.
It's not about dragons.
It's not make-believe?
Yeah, it's not about dragons flying through the air.
John, it's a television show. It's all make-believe.
No, but it's not dragons flying through the air.
This just in. Soap operas aren't real.
Yes, and there are no dragons have hit Port Charles.
No, but a guy can go missing for 2 years and nobody knows how to use a cell phone to figure out who he is.
Sonny was only in Nixon Falls for like 9 months, Bob.
Oh, okay.
And nobody had the internet to be able to tell him, you're a notorious mob boss with amnesia. I mean, it's sometimes just the dragons thing. My wife loves it. And she loves, my buddy Tom is the director of what's the show that everybody loved? Bridgerton. The soft porn show.
Yeah, I don't think everyone loved it, but the ladies.
They loved it.
Yeah.
They loved it. Well, it's a huge show. And they just had like a spin-off one that was also to huge numbers and everything that has been created. She watches all of that. I see people in wigs. I see grown men in wigs. And I'm like, okay, I'm out. Even though I may need one in around 2 months. And I've agreed to wear some, each day for the show, maybe get a different wig.
I don't know.
I see a show about like just old England and men wearing wigs and everything, and I'm like, okay, I'm out. Can't watch it. That's just me. It's period pieces I don't do well with. And is Yellowstone a period piece or not?
No.
So it's modern day.
Kinda.
What do you mean kinda?
They have the throwback ones now. They have the Yellowstone.
They'll go back when he was a kid or when the other Rip was a kid. I mean, every show does that. They'll give you a little history.
No, but I mean,
they've got a new season. It's just like Yellowstone, whatever year.
Oh, they go back to 1895 or something.
Well, Costner's not in the new season, right?
Well,
and
barely. He had this thing where he stopped wanting to work. He's like, I'm only going to film one day, and then they're just like, no, we're just going to write you out.
Is that what happened?
I think so. I think that's what the story was.
Look, it's from what I've learned. I've not watched it. Yellowstone is Dallas. It's just the same. The Dallas, the Dynasty, the old formatics.
I didn't.
But it's different. It's just different. It's set in a different place. It's these ruthless people. Keith Weingard says 5 years later, and I'm still get chills every time I hear the Succession theme song. It's just a weird
chills.
He gets chills from it. Terrible though.
Interesting. Now you guys know that my weekend starts when I watch Blue Blood on Friday nights.
Yes,
I have to hear that theme song because that's what puts me into the
And do they shorten it up, or do they actually let it play?
It plays, but it's what, 25 seconds?
Oh, it's
maybe?
not as long.
No.
Okay.
No.
So we'll keep that going. Hey, with Colonel Season's popcorn seasoning, you can turn what into what the what? Add interesting. With Colonel Seasons today available in the popcorn aisle. Bob's going to do it this weekend.
I think I am. I absolutely think I am, yeah.
And by the way, FanFest is coming up. It was announced yesterday. Thanks a lot, Coach. Coach didn't even tell me. Like, I'm going to be out with a medical procedure, and Coach doesn't even tell me.
I told you this morning.
Yeah, FanFest, but everybody else heard before I did.
You were busy yesterday, John.
FanFest, Dr. Omar knew about it probably before I did.
We told him before we told you.
There was a lot that went down yesterday that you know nothing about.
Oh, no.
Yeah, trust me.
Well, I got YouTube.
Things get done when you're out.
Saturday, August 26th, from 11 to 5 at Xfinity Live, the 10th anniversary of FanFest. Special guests have signed on to appear that day. We'll be telling you about them in the upcoming days and weeks. And with this, the 10th anniversary, we're thrilled to have not one, but two national recording artists scheduled to put on 2 concerts that day, which is going to be absolutely awesome. So the headliner will be announced in the coming weeks. It's a free event, but you have to win tickets or grab tickets via an online ticket raid to get in. So give it to us, Coach. Yesterday, the online ticket raid went fast.
Yeah, so we made quite a few tickets available yesterday for the 8 a.m. ticket raid, and all of them went in 3 minutes.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's worse than Springsteen.
Are we able to give away tickets willy-nilly a little bit, Coach, or what's the deal?
Bob, do you want to give tickets away to FanFest?
I would love to give away, I'm going to say, how many pairs can I give away, Coach?
Let's go with 2.
What do you want to do?
You said 2.
Let's give away 2 pair of tickets right now.
How about it? 215-263-0975. 215-263-0975. Who's back there, Mikey?
Matt.
Stat Menard?
Yeah, Stat Menard
is in the house
today. Yeah.
Stat's there today. Stat will take your call. 215-263-0975. I cannot wait for FanFest. I'm going to have special, I guess, like special dispensation for FanFest because I'm not
a priest.
Well, I think Father Casey may show up.
Oh yeah,
I'm going to put on the big wide brimmed hat. I got to stay out of the sun a lot and everything, but I do not want to miss FanFest.
We'll see if we can rent out the Pope Mobile for you.
I don't
drive
think
you around.
I don't think we need that.
It's not bad.
It's Keith Jones joins us, bottom of the hour. Adam Schefter at 8:20. Let's get to it here, though. I mean, Bob, we both have a lot of thoughts on this. The idea that the Flyers are finally doing what people have asked them to do for a while. And I get the people yesterday, they're like, oh, yeah, a year after Connor Bedard, the Flyers decide to do this. Look, if you're never going to be happy, could you just wear a T-shirt to tell me? If nothing is ever going to please you, could you just wear a T-shirt and announce yourself? You're going to be the negative Nelly all the time. You've begged for this. You've wanted it. You're getting it now. You're getting an absolute tear down to the studs. And, Bob, I love the aggressiveness of this. I wish it had been done earlier, but I'm fine with it being done. It had to get done, and now they're getting it done.
You can complain with the Flyers about draft picks, trades, free agent signings, all of those things, and you're probably right. But it all comes back to, when you put all those things together, is the organization has been led, for the most part, by believers of they're just a player or two away. And that just hasn't been the case. That's not the case. And now you have 2 fresh new faces in here that I think, I'm not going to say realize that's not the case, but are fully embracing that that's not the case. They're not.
No,
You're
they're
not a player or 2 away. You're not a sniper away. You're not signing someone that was really good, a has-been, a Jaromir Jagr away.
Yeah.
You're just not. And Keith Jones and Danny Briere have embraced that. And they know that. And I do like early on what's going on here. Danny last week coming on the show, I thought was phenomenal. Open and honest. We know exactly where we are. I really don't think past managers, general managers, coaches, whatever, really embrace that.
And I don't care what happened before Danny Briere and Keith Jones took the jobs. I don't care. That's water. There's nothing that can be done about the mistakes of the past. But I'm sure as hell not going to attach them to this regime. I'm going to see what these guys do. And they're rolling the dice. They're going right after it. They're going for the full teardown.
Yeah, and in a teardown, you have to decide, okay, who do I have left to keep? And there's only limited guys here that are. Now, moving Provorov, great move. Why was it hesitated on for a few years? I understand you're trying to hold on to something, but that's the problem with past with past general managership.
Yes.
Is that, okay, but this guy's a little bit too good. We can't. No, you didn't have enough besides that to move forward. So, yeah, I love what they're doing. I love the aggressiveness. We'll see how it plays out. Now, the second part of it, as we know, is there has to be really good Italian evaluators. And,
big time.
And Briere told us that they made some changes, and they're confident in that.
And more importantly, though, this is going to take a while to bear fruit. Sure. This isn't going to be something that turns itself around the next year. We're going to be able to see it. Last year we saw it, though, is that I'm a true believer that whatever you can get out of the squeeze, you can get out of the lemon, Tortorella's going to get it, Connor.
Yeah, I mean, you have the right head coach, and that's important. And he's also a guy that will not pull any punches when he tries to develop these guys, but it's also good because sure, the general manager and the president are going to make their decisions, but you need a coach who's going to be able to echo that to the players in a fair way. I think Tortorella's really good at having guys trust that he's being fair even when he's being stern or delivering bad news, which he's going to have to do to some of these guys. Talk them into like, hey, you got to be better or you're not going to be playing for this team. So I think they have the right coach. I like the general manager. I like the president that they have. I mean, yeah, we've got to give them time to prove their worth. But it would be unfair to them to not show them faith, especially after showing faith to guys that have come before in these positions who have been terrible.
I'm not sure anybody ever got much faith. Like, I mean, I don't think Chuck Fletcher ever got much faith.
Some. I mean, we believed in AV. We believed in Chuck Fletcher a little bit, like when they had that bit going on where you saw what happened in the pandemic and you're like, oh, they might have something here. I know it was weird circumstances, but they had a little bit of faith and it quickly dissipated. But
for good reason. I mean, you know, right?
But we should not have faith in Briere and Jones because of what happened with Fletcher.
And nobody is going to, well, no, we shouldn't say nobody. The majority should not lament if Carter Hart is traded. And reportedly, there are a lot of teams sniffing around to make a deal. If Carter Hart's traded, I shouldn't hear from anybody. Oh, my gosh.
You understand why you will, though.
Why?
Because this town has been starving for a goalie and you're moving one. For some people, regardless of the teardown, mentally that's going to be a tough thing to get over.
I agree.
Tough thing to get over if Carter Hart goes? Really?
Yeah, because you finally thought of all the years of drought and the main focus, like you and I named two goaltenders over the last 40 years that you could wrap your hands around and say, man, that was a real goaltender for this organization. You've had two in 40 years.
That's fair. Yeah, you really have.
You finally got it. You got that goalie. And the thought was, and this is a fair one, John, no matter how bad the team is, whatever, all right, at least you have the goalie. Build everything else. It's the most important position in the sport. Build everything else. It's gotten so bad that they're going to have to include that goalie into the building everything else. Now, on the downside, like Connor said, now you got to find a goalie again. And
yeah, you do. You got 3 years to find one.
And I hear you. Okay, but they also had 40 years to find one, and they found two. I mean, that's why people are a little upset.
These guys weren't involved in that.
Right, and it's
I hear you.
It's not that it's the wrong move, but the fan base is parts of the fan base. People are going to look at it and say, man, I'm really happy we got this guy at this position that we didn't know we would ever see. And now moving on from, like, you understand it, but part of you still wishes that you had that position locked up so you don't feel like you're regressing back to before you found one.
I mean, the Knights are 2 games away from having their names etched in the cup.
Yes, it's not the wrong move. I'm not saying it's the wrong move. I'm just saying people are going to, some people who lived and died on that hill that the Flyers need to find a goalie are going to see them trade one away that they think is good and be slightly upset with
that. And the Vegas Golden Knights, not only an expansion team, but have gone through 4 different goaltenders in 6 years. They've been to the conference finals 4 times, Stanley Cup finals twice. They are about to win a Stanley Cup if they can win 2 more games. And they've gone through 4 goalies in 6 years.
Yeah.
It's not like you can't win if you don't have, like Carter Hart goes, there's nobody else like him. They've found 4. in Vegas. It's amazing.
No, we're not saying there's nobody else like
No,
Carter
but they
Hart,
found four.
but-
If you build a really
yeah.
good team, Vegas isn't winning because of they're getting quality goaltending, but they're not winning because of their goaltending. Dallas had better goaltending in the series. Florida has better goaltending in the finals. They've had better teams that they've played have had the better goaltending edge in the matchup, but they haven't beaten Vegas. Vegas will beat the crap out of you, by the way, in neutral ice. Just knock you around. Mike in Center City joins us. Mike, good morning. You're on The Fanatic.
Hey, John, good morning. How are you?
Good, buddy. How you doing?
Good. Hey, I had to jump right on when I heard this
Sure.
conversation. So,
Turn down your radio a little bit because we're getting
yeah,
feedback.
sure, for sure. I'll definitely turn
Okay,
it down.
buddy.
Hold on.
There you go.
All right, you got me?
You got you.
All right, great. So I totally am on the fence with Carter Hart because, like Bob and Connor say, it's been 2 goals in 40 years. But I know that he's got to be your most valuable asset at this point. So I can't just move him unless the return is greater than what they've got for Provorov. And I think Briere did a phenomenal job on that, right?
Oh yeah. Well, we have to see how it is great the return that he's got, but what kind of draft picks? What are you going to do with the draft picks that you get?
Totally, and that relates back to the talent evaluators. But I think Provorov's value. It was definitely higher in years past than it is at this point. I mean, I think he really soured in the organization anyway. But to get a first rounder, 2 seconds, and a decent prospect, another player plus that goalie, I think I need more than that for Hart. I mean, I won't be upset if he's gone because I think he's only 24 and his prime isn't here yet. But I will completely understand if he does move.
All right, buddy. Yeah, it's the truth.
No, he summed it up perfectly, Mike did. You understand that, yeah, it's going to be disappointing because you thought you had a franchise-changing goaltender, but where they are now, he's your biggest asset. So that's how you have to look at it. Mike hit it on the head right there.
I mean, there's a lot of the Golden Knights have went in a 4-year period from Marc-Andre Fleury, then they go over to Robin Lerner, and then now to Aiden Hill. In 4 years. And by the way, they hit the conference finals 3 of those 4 years, Stanley Cup finals once.
Right.
3 different goaltenders, and nobody could pick except Marc-Andre Fleury, people knew. The other 2 guys, off the street, people wouldn't have known them.
Yeah, it's doable. It's certainly doable. Other teams do it all the time.
Carter Hart's better than any one of those guys.
Listen, yeah, I get it. And that's why I'm still in your camp. I'm just saying that people are going to see that. You ever go out with a girl where it's just like, you could find a better one, but you're already emotionally invested in this girl? And even though you see the flaws, you're just like, yeah, it'd probably be better to move on. Long term, I'm not going to marry this girl. But she's already here. And I like her, and I've been trying to find a girlfriend for forever.
Nah, he's more than that, though.
Okay, he's your
Carter's more
fiance?
No, he's more than just somebody that's already been here. Like, he has the potential for greatness.
My point is mentally, you're emotionally invested in Carter Hart being the guy because you wanted him to be here for so long, and he showed up, and he had that playoff run. And it's just like, okay, I'm all in. And now
he watches drips of sweat fall off him. Look at the concentration.
Yeah, he plays guitar. He does all this cool mental exercise.
But by the way, as Haley points out, and I appreciate it because I didn't think it was even this bad. The Knights played 6 goalies this year. They're 2 wins from the Stanley Cup Finals. They've started 6 different goaltenders.
Right.
They're picking guys up at the Costco and saying, "Can you start tonight?"
Yeah, you can win without Carter Hart, but just people got emotionally invested in the kid, and to see him leave is
because he watches sweat drop.
Yeah, it's a separation from an era that we thought was going to be the answer that turned out not to be.
Hey, Frank in South Philly joins us on The Fanatic. Good morning, Frank.
Hey, guys. Good morning. How we doing?
Good, buddy.
Good. So, lifelong Flyers fan here. Been through the trials and tribulations. I was at Game 6 when the Blackhawks lifted the cup in Wells Fargo Center. So, I've been through the heartbreaks, man, and I'm really excited for where we're headed as a team here.
But the thing is, though, it's the potential. You're excited by the potential.
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
Because I don't know what those draft picks are going to end up being.
You never know.
That's what we'll find out when Keith joins us in a few minutes.
Sure. And I feel like the Flyers have rushed development of a lot of very talented players over the years. And you've seen that where players have come here, kind of floundered, and then they've gone to other teams and they've won cups, which is insane to me. I'm hoping that we don't rush development anymore. And I think that Torts is the guy for that job and for that role to ensure that, hey, this guy's not ready. Don't bring him up just yet. But like I said, just the regime change has really got me excited for sure.
Yeah, the regime change is going to be exciting. I'm very interested to hear, though, what Keith Jones has to say about it. And what's got to be hard for Keith doing the Stanley Cup Finals as he's starting this new job. And, he's spending his days.
He's scouting.
Hiring people, look at it. I think I hope that he's learning just best practices. He's watching these two teams and saying, look how Vegas came together. Look how Florida came together. And look what they did. I think the Devils are one of those franchises that go really young, see what you got, and then like Florida, tried to build a ground of improvement, tried to build a swell of here's talent that is stepping up and going, and then when the time was right, they make the deal for Tkachuk. When they think they've got enough of a base, then they add somebody like the Johnny Gaudreau people last summer. You got to get Johnny Gaudreau. No, you weren't you're not a star player. Like him away from doing anything. It's that you added Gaudreau when you've built the foundation and the base. I think it showed this year in Columbus. It's great. You got a guy with numbers, but it didn't do anything. It actually made them worse.
Yeah, but that plays into the Carter Hart thing as well, why some people are going to be sad, because it's just the emotional connection. He's an area guy. He's a star. You want somebody you can cling to and say, okay, well, at least we have this to look forward to. And for a lot of people, Carter Hart was that guy. So part of it is this is the doorstep into total rebuild would be moving Carter Hart. And some people, that's a scary step to take.
Well, it has to happen.
I think the Sixers have made that easier, though.
Yeah, they have.
No, I'm not, and I don't say that jokingly. They went to the extremes of a rebuild. So for the Flyers to do it this way and getting rid of a Carter Hart doesn't seem as extreme as maybe it did in the past.
Yeah, we're not going to watch Jarvis Varnado skate anytime soon, so it can't be that bad.
Jarvis gets more play on here than he did with the Sixers.
Yes, he does.
More minutes on this show than he did. All right, we've got Adam Schefter coming up. And then we have Keith Jones right behind him. It's going to be a busy, busy morning.
97.5 The Fanatic, Philadelphia.
John Kincade Show on 97.5 The Fanatic. Bob willy-nilly giving away passes to FanFest.
That's what I do.
Well, then why don't we give out another pair?
Oh, you're getting crazy
Stat
now.
Menark will take a call at 215-263-0975. 215-263-0975. We'll give away another pair of FanFest tickets. Last Saturday in August. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be absolutely amazing.
Oh, so Jim G came to visit us yesterday at PJ's. And a good friend of the show, really good guy. And we were talking and stuff. And then he kind of gets a look on his face and he looks at me and goes, what's it take to get FanFest tickets? I said, dude, don't you worry about it. You'll get FanFest tickets. We'll figure it all out.
We'll find a way to get you in.
Oh, are you kidding me? Yeah.
Hey, Adam Schefter's going to join us thanks to our friends at Landis Block and Concrete. You can create your very own jaw-dropping backyard paradise online at landisbc.com. So we had dinner last night. And the Ring doorbell camera goes off in the backyard. Now you got activity in the backyard, and I'm hearing somebody talking. I go out onto the back deck to look at my beautiful backyard patio, and who was there? Tony Marzano, who built it with the great, items that we got from Landis Block and Concrete. And he was there showing one of my other neighbors, look, this is what we can do.
Oh, wow.
And she got Landis Block and Concrete's information, too.
How do you like that?
Gotta love it. Let's go to the Comcast Business Hotline. Every day in business is a big day. Comcast Business gets you ready for what's next. Adam Schefter joins us thanks to Landis Block and Concrete. Adam, it's fun. We saw A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts taking batting practice yesterday.
I think they were pretty good, right?
A.J. better than Jalen.
Well, he played.
Just
he
if you're
played
looking at
serious
it,
baseball. He played college baseball.
A.J. Brown was drilling it. I mean, now it's batting practice pitching, but he was still all over it.
Yeah, I'm surprised that Jalen wasn't better. That's surprising to me. Like, quarterbacks are usually excellent baseball players.
Is Jalen a golfer, I wonder? Because you know how the quarterback club, they love to play golf. I mean, I think he's spending more time in the film room, Adam, than he is out on the first tee, too.
Well, that's good for the Eagles. That's how you'd like your quarterback to be in the offseason, right?
We love it.
As opposed to the Greens. Yeah, exactly. So good for him and good for the organization.
We love hearing it right now. Well, I'm feeling good. Got the port put in yesterday, and chemo begins next Wednesday. So it's all getting started, but it feels good. I got a great medical team, which is like, when you feel better, like when you're talking about NFL franchises and when they got a good GM and they got a good coach and the scouts all work together. I have a great medical team that's going to lead me through this, and I'm following directions.
As you should. You sound great. You've had the right attitude all along, and you got this.
That's what I'm trying to do.
Chef, we've heard there's been a sprinkling of players dabbling in betting on their sport in the NFL right now. Do you think it's something that's an ugly head is going to surface here that this could be becoming a problem, or do you think that these are just a couple of incidents?
Well, I think it's more than a couple. We've already seen.
I should say a few. You're right. Yes.
Okay, we saw 6 players suspended last month. We're going to see Isaiah Rodgers, the Colts cornerback, suspended indefinitely. I think it's fair to say, considering that he committed a couple of the Cardinal sins. Not only did he bet, but he bet from the team's facility, and he bet on his own team's games. If Ridley got a year, I mean, I think that I'm going to guess that you're probably talking about a similar discipline. Supposedly there are other people. I think it's a little bit of everything there, Bob. I think the league has found some players that are doing things that the league doesn't want them to do, and I think the league wants to take a stand early and try to get ahead of it and make sure that the message is sent. And let's be honest, I don't know how great the league has been at communicating its message to the players about how strict it's going to be and how serious it is. I mean, there are reminders, but I think we're in a new era, and I think the communication will be better and stronger, and the warnings will be more constant. And I think the league's hoping that helps curtail any of this activity that it has detected so far.
Shefty, I don't want to sound ignorant here, but I'm being in all honesty. Is the message just don't do it, or is there some leniency that maybe players don't understand?
Well, the message definitely is you're not allowed to bet. I don't think you're allowed to bet on football, period. And you're certainly not allowed to bet on football at your facility. And you better not be betting on your own team's games. Like, the league has taken a strong stance on gambling always. But I think in the day and age we're in, it's different technology, it's different times, and it calls for, I think, a little bit of a different approach. But I think that's the general message, Bob. We don't want you betting on football. You're not allowed to bet on football. You're definitely not allowed to do it at the facility. And God help you if you do it on your own team's games.
I could understand the not betting on football or not betting in the facility. But I don't understand why a NFL player couldn't bet on an NBA game or an NHL game or something like that.
I don't disagree with that. I'm with you. And in the times we're living in,
yes,
when the NFL's got all these sponsorship deals and is promoting gambling and promoting on many of these fantasy sites, if somebody wanted to bet some money on the NBA Finals, I don't have an issue with that, but I'm not making the rules for the NFL.
Chef, are you going to be available in August to come to Fan Fest and let all the fans see you in person on August 26th? I'm throwing you the invite early.
Wow, Bob's giving out tickets today, willy-nilly, and now he's like saying, look, Shefty's coming. We would love to have Shefty come too, but
it's 10 to 12,000 of our closest friends. It's pretty cool.
It's on a Thursday?
It's on a Saturday.
It's on a Saturday. That's the hard part for you, though.
You know what? I actually think that I'm supposed to be in Chicago that weekend, but that is not confirmed. I'm waiting to hear, but I'd already been extended an invite to Chicago for that weekend. We'll see. I'll say this. I drove to Philadelphia last week on Friday. That was not an enjoyable experience driving to Philadelphia.
We'll send somebody for you, Shefty.
Listen,
we have it in the budget. Don't you worry about it.
Adam Schefter joining us on the John Kincade Show. Sean Desai got a write-up in CBS Sports, my buddy Jeff Kerr, writing a piece about how Desai is they're constantly being quizzed on situational football that they're learning in the classroom. And Bob and I got into a discussion this morning. Nick Sirianni does less on-field stuff than pretty much any team in the NFL. But I like this idea that at any time the teacher may pass you in the hallway and start quizzing you on situational football. I mean, this sounds pretty intense.
Well, look, he's coming in and he's getting to know his players and they're getting to know him, and he's trying to show them and teach them a way that it's going to be done under him. You know, he's a different guy than Jonathan Gannon with a different approach than Jonathan Gannon, and players are going to have to learn that, and he's going to have to learn them. It goes both ways. And so I just think that's part of the steps of trying to get them ready for the new season and the challenges ahead.
I like it. I don't want to. I never would have wanted a teacher stopping me in the hallway and quizzing me on like Russian history or something. I mean, how much did you learn? How much did you learn along the way? It's just tough. So the dog day's coming now, I guess, right? Now there's a lot of – when does the vacation season begin? I know Andy Reid would even shut it down for like a few weeks.
Yeah, well, I think here's the deal. The league never stops. I've learned that, and it never shuts down. And it does enter a slower time. That slower time to me is always like May 15th to July 15th. But, you just never know what's going to happen.
Right.
That's the problem with this league. Players get suspended for gambling, or DeAndre Hopkins signs, or Dalvin Cook gets traded or released, or there's always something in the NFL. Now, it's not nearly as intense, and there aren't shows on the weekend. No Sunday countdown, Monday night camp. So it's certainly a slower, enjoyable time of the year, but it just never stops, John. It never stops. That's the nature of the league.
That sounds good to me, though. We're all ready for it. By the way, 95 days till the Eagles opener. Just saying. 95.
Well, that's exciting, right?
It is for us. So thanks, Adam.
Take care, guys. Have a great day.
We'll talk
Thanks,
to you again
Shefty.
soon. Adam Schefter, join us on the Comcast Business Hotline, where every day in business is a big day. And our friends at the Bet Parks Casino and Sportsbook app are the official sportsbook partner of the Real Philly Sports Fan. You got to be 21 in Pennsylvania, New Jersey. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
I hope it doesn't happen, but the reason I asked him about the betting was I wonder if this is going to explode a little
Like
bit.
a tip of the iceberg?
Yeah. I hope not, like I said, but I'm just wondering. That's why I had to throw that out.
I think there could be. I mean, it does seem hypocritical, though. Like an NFL player can't bet on an NBA game?
They have to be able to allow that.
Hey, let's go to the Comcast Business Hotline again, where every day in business is a big day. Keith Jones, who I hear calling the Stanley Cup Finals, joining us on the Comcast Business Hotline. Good morning, Keith. Were you going to the outlet mall this morning? Maybe pick up like 2-for-1 Izod shirts or something?
I was thinking about it, John. I'm actually back near Gainesville, where we, believe it or not, have a home right now. So I'm visiting my family in between games, and we've been busy. I've been on the phone a lot. Let's just put it that way. And I'm also really happy to hear you back on the air, John.
Thank you, buddy.
And wishing you well and everything that you're going through.
I appreciate it. Thanks for reaching out, too. It means a lot. I can tell you this. There's a lot of excitement and a lot of intrigue into what Danny Briere sprung on everybody yesterday with the Ivan Provorov trade. That we talked to Danny last Friday, and I know you're going to come out and join us at one of those coming up soon. The idea of tearing this thing down to the studs, is that a incorrect sort of analogy to what potentially we're about to see?
Well, we're rebuilding. I mean, and it's clear that we made that point to our fans, and we want to make sure that we bring our fans along with us as we kind of reset the direction of this Flyers team. Standing still was not going to work for us. The phone lines have been, being worked an awful lot. There's a lot that goes into making a deal like Danny was able to make in moving Ivan Provorov. There's a lot of people that we had to contact. There's a lot of things that were being done behind the scenes in order to pull that off. And our guys, our team, did an outstanding job, including our analytics department that had a lot of math to do. I'd like to pretend I know math, not like these guys. Math 101 at Western Michigan wasn't pulling this deal off. These guys did a great job. It was a combination of everybody, and it's really what we've been trying to show to people from the start of the press conference, that a collaborative effort is going to lead us to, being in a position to execute and get things right. And this is a good start. Are we doing jumping jacks? No, we lost a very good player in Ivan Provorov who did a lot for the organization. Columbus is going to be better with him in the short term, and we're looking more long term from our perspective.
Keith, when I was covering the Sixers, I once passed a general manager in the hallway, and literally under his arm was a book that said CBA 101. And I stopped him and I said, seriously? He goes, you can't stop learning in this league about what you're up against. What are some of the little intricacies about in your new job that you have to learn or that you're learning going forward?
Well, there's an awful lot. And fortunately, being with a team and an organization like the Flyers, we have all the resources in the world to get the best people in every department. And it's really about allowing people to do their job, allowing them to feel like they're a part of something special, and making sure their hard work pays dividends for all of us. And it's not an I thing, it's a we thing for us. And we're going to use every asset that we have available to us to get the Flyers back on track. And we've got a lot of assets, and we're going to add more assets. Not just talking about draft assets and young prospects. I'm talking about in the front office as well. So this is kind of where we're headed. We're not there yet, and we have more things that we want to accomplish.
I'm personally rooting for my buddy Darren Elliott, who I know you know well, to get another Stanley Cup ring out there with the Golden Knights as we watch the Stanley Cup Finals. And if you run into him, please say hello. I'm trying to figure out, though, Keith, is that in the last 4 seasons, the Vegas Golden Knights have really ridden the back of 3 different starting goaltenders. So when all the discussion comes about Carter Hart or comes about you got to have that solid goaltending. I've watched a team like Vegas do it much differently in their 6-year history.
Well, their back end is outstanding. It is the best blue line in the National Hockey League, and that erases a lot of the problems that goaltending, has to normally erase itself. Great saves go a long way to winning Stanley Cups, and great goaltending certainly helps. But in the case of the Vegas Golden Knights, it's all about defending and not allowing quality opportunities against no matter who's in net. If you watch Adin Hill play and you really examine him technically, it's not pretty. It's really not pretty to watch.
No.
So that's what you're dealing with there. But he's getting the job done. But a lot of it has to do with the back end, and that's something that we really want to focus on and concentrate on as we build this thing out. The blue line is going to really be an important part of the package.
Keith, reset, rebuild, however we want to phrase it. We saw the biggest, at least in my lifetime, and you and I are about the same age, the biggest rebuild ever in sports was done by the Philadelphia 76ers. Do you take anything away from other organizations? Do you dive into other organizations and ask questions there?
I think you look at every sport. You look at everything that you can possibly use to your advantage. You look at how championship teams are built, like one that is in the city and the Philadelphia Eagles. You look and see how they have managed to come up with a formula that works. Almost seems like they broke the code as far as the salary cap goes. And you examine those things as closely as you can, and you hire people that think similarly to the folks that are finding ways to be creative and get around what can be a debilitating salary cap situation. The reason Vegas and hockey is good is they started at ground zero and they added, players through an expansion draft, but at the same time allowed themselves some room to go out and acquire the best players that became available, like Jack Eichel, Alex Pietrangelo. Those type of cornerstone stars are the reason why Vegas is sitting very close to winning a Stanley Cup, and in fact, they will win in a matter of days. That is the type of formula that you want to look at and examine and make sure that you find a way to get yourself in that position. And in order to do that, there's times that you need to strip things down.
Keith Jones joining us. He is calling the shots as the head man for the Philadelphia Flyers right now, with a great team around him of executives trying to make good decisions and everything. We talked to Danny Briere last Friday. I got to wonder, though, Keith, you're calling the Stanley Cup Finals, and I'm hearing you do that. And Christina says to me the other night, so Jonesy's still doing that? And I said, yeah. And are people talking to you the same way? Like you would talk to executives of teams and find out about how they were built and get information for the broadcast and everything. Do you just have to work off the knowledge you already know? Because do they wonder now when they look at you, hey, wait a minute, he's trying to get some information out of us?
Yeah, the best part of this, John, is the best deals you make are the ones that are good for both teams.
Right.
And having the trust of people that you have, communicated with for years. And in many cases, had a lot of information that you would be given by certain people throughout the game that stayed with you. Having built a trust with those people matters. A lot of these deals are built on trust. And the type of deals that Danny and I are trying to make right now, we want the other team to do well. Do we want to win the trade in the end? Of course. We want the Flyers to benefit. But we are going to build those type of relationships and build on those that already exist through other avenues and friendships to make sure that we put ourselves in the best position to make the best deals possible. And if you don't have those relationships, they're not answering the phone. So we have access and the ability to call on many different executives in this league, many different coaches who are never shy on sharing information on players as you converse with them. And all that information really adds up to trying to give you the best ability to make the best trade at the right time.
Keith, a lot of people were surprised at the hiring of you in this position just because it wasn't talked about, it wasn't rumored, anything like that. Was this a job that you wanted in the NHL, or more specifically, a job that you took with the Flyers?
Yeah, only the Flyers.
Is that right? Only the Flyers?
Yeah, it's the only team I ever would have done it with, and so much of it is what I owe to the city that has been so great to me. I had an easy life. Doing television and radio and all the stuff.
You did radio?
Don't tell anybody radio's
Wait a
an
minute,
easy
you
life.
did radio? I don't remember. Did you really? I must have missed that.
Exactly. So all of those things were fun, and had a great time doing them. And they're easy, as you guys know. You do put a lot of work into each of the jobs that you're doing, but it's kind of fun and come in and talk and rip everybody in every organization. Have a great time doing it. And now it's time to get ripped. So I was ready to get ripped on for a few more years. Let's put it that way.
We can't wait to have you at one of our first Fridays. Danny Briere, though, was like a rock star the other day. I mean,
He's
honestly.
I'm so proud of him, guys. Like the amount of work that he put in to pull this deal off. And he is such a bright young guy that really gets it. And I'm just really very happy that, Danny's doing the job that he's doing. He's just a terrific guy to be around. We want good people. We want people that you want to hang out with. And Danny Briere is one of those guys.
Keith, always appreciate your time. Look forward to seeing you soon in person. And let's get after. Have a good broadcast tomorrow and Saturday, correct, in Florida?
I believe it is, John, but I can't even remember.
You're more worried about your day job than your night job.
That is true.
You won't wear makeup anymore, though. I mean, there will be no more makeup wearing anymore for you.
I'm going to miss that.
All right, we'll talk to you soon. All right, buddy. Take care,
Thanks,
Keith. There you go. Keith Jones joined us on the Comcast Business Hotline, where every day in business is a big day. Keith Jones did radio? I don't
remember that.
I didn't even realize that.
No, I just know him from TV.
Coach, was he like, I didn't even realize that Keith had done some radio. It's just unbelievable. This is shocking.
Yeah, I don't know anything about that.
We know nothing about it. The comebacks from Coach this morning.
Yeah. Well, he was talking about getting ripped on and ripping it and all that stuff. He was known to be a ripper.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He's
kind of my idol.
He's
in that
known for
department.
ripping it. Yeah, that's what he could be. He could be
I wonder
known
if I
for.
could learn something from.
But literally by the joke, he goes, John, what's the joke about him buying Izod shirts? If you don't know where the Florida Panthers Stadium is, it's in an outlet mall. It's literally, if you went to like the Philadelphia outlets up near Oaks, or where's the other ones, Bob? You have ones over in Jersey, right, where you have the outlet
Gloucester
mall?
has them.
Yeah, Gloucester.
Okay, imagine an outlet mall with a hockey stadium in it.
Sounds awesome.
So
Sounds
like
convenient.
people are getting like 2-for-1 underwear and then rolling into the Panthers game.
Yeah, I've been needing to get some new tight pants, and that would be perfect. I could go to the game.
You were all tighted up yesterday.
Oh,
What
no.
do you mean?
He had the short shorts and the
He's
shirt.
one of the chubbies and short shirts?
If he's a large, he was wearing an extra medium. I mean, it was a tight shirt, tight shorts. Oh, no, you could pull it off.
Yeah, you pulled off.
Yeah, sure. That was very convincing.
Very popular in
His
many
shirt wasn't
sections.
small,
Bob, many
okay?
sections of town.
And you
Very
smelled
popular.
Great.
He did? Did he?
I'm trying to give you a compliment.
Thank
You're
you.
like you're backhanding me.
Yeah, we're
here.
still fighting after yesterday. Bob told everyone in the Delaware Valley I'm the stinky kid.
Well,
So I didn't say that.
I remember the golf outing day.
There was a golf outing day.
There was a golf outing day.
He
Yeah, that
had
was
to
one
spray
off.
him down with. No, you started it by saying that he leaves sometimes his wash in the washer for like 6 to 9 hours or
And it
overnight.
will get that
Yeah, and I just told him. I said that's a bad smell.
Because it wasn't BO. The golf
No,
day.
he doesn't have.
Well,
BO.
that was because I put on a polo that was in the back of my car. I remember that day.
Well, whatever it was you can't smell it. Like, I know every single guy has taken something either off a rack or off a thing and gone, give it the sniff test and gone, can I wear this again? Okay, I can. You can't.
No.
You have no nose.
No, well, that's not true. I have
No,
a
you
nose.
got a big nose, but I mean, you can smell.
you have a
Not
big
a big
nose.
nose, but
Not
like he's got a
Voldemort
Roman
over
You
nose.
here.
have a nose.
He's got a Roman nose. Not a Mr. Potato Head nose, but a Roman nose.
I have all the same attributes as a normal human, all the same features, besides one kidney that doesn't work.
And the smell can't work.
Yeah. Well, physical attributes. That's a sense.
Yes.
A sixth
give you
sense?
that.
No, I only have 4.
I was just trying to help you out yesterday. I wasn't calling you smelly or stinky or anything.
You could have done that off the air, Bob.
No, you brought up leaving the wash in the washer.
No,
You
Jamie
can't
That is
do it.
terrible, by the way.
Yeah,
that
you
is
can't.
a bad
You got to
thing.
go right from washer to dryer.
I'm
Can't
working
have
on it. Okay, I'm not a perfect man.
Hey, you could be my son. I'm giving you advice, buddy.
I'd prefer not to be because you're going to tell all my friends at school I'm the stinky kid.
Well,
if you were my son, I wouldn't have to tell them that. They would figure it out.
hey, Las Vegas has set the exact win total that the Eagles are most likely to hit by gambling standards. What's the number? We'll talk about it next. John Kincade Show here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Eagles talk in Philadelphia. 97.5 The Fanatic. Now, back to the John Kincade Show on 97.5 The Fanatic, Philadelphia.
The safety dance.
Is that what that is?
Did you remember you didn't do the safety dance?
No, not recently.
You didn't know the safety dance? Connor,
I've
you
heard
seen
the
the
song.
video?
Maybe at some point.
There's like a little person.
Yeah.
Using the proper term from.
I know they have the hats, the weird like
from
red
Game of
layered hats.
Thrones, and they go around and they make the S, the safety dance.
Yeah.
I think like 85, 84, 86.
Yeah, probably around there.
Something like that.
Coach, what year? Where's Coach?
Oh, no, Coach isn't in there.
I don't know where Coach went.
Why is he not in there? He's our
Coach should be
executive
in
producer.
there.
He's supposed to be overseeing the show.
You'll have to ask him. I'm fine in here right
He
now.
thought there might be a gas leak in the building.
Is there? That would be dangerous.
But he did not. He did not exit the building. So I don't know what he's potentially doing. He did not exit the facility. But
it's a great question.
I'm
You can
not
come
sure
back
what
in
it
here
is.
and tell me, or you could jump on the mic.
I don't know. He could if he could gasp for. It looks like he's gasping for air. Maybe it's the wildfires.
It's got to be.
I don't know. I don't understand it.
I mean, it's just a little bit much. So, but we appreciate it.
Maybe
that
he can explain
hopefully, Coach
himself
is
at some
okay.
point.
Is there a Pez dispenser emergency or something?
Something wrong, Coach?
Somebody steal the Mary Poppins?
I don't understand what part of farting in a small studio is okay.
It's not okay.
What part of that is okay?
Come on, Connor. You got to be better.
Connor, come on now.
What?
Just because we were talking about ripping it earlier
About
didn't
ripping
mean you
it. I mean,
had to
that's-
go and do it.
That's not good.
Listen, guys, stuff happens. We're
Yeah, but you
working
see-
hard here. I'm
yeah, but it's
exerting
because you
myself.
can't, but it's because you can't smell it.
Well, that's
Yeah,
not
but
my
he can't
problem.
get up from his place of work. So, some things are going to have to happen.
Wait a minute. Whoa,
I
whoa, whoa.
totally understand.
Pat
you.
Egan is never behind that mic.
Yeah,
He
you know
stays.
why?
Because
He
he runs
mans
out
his-
every 10 minutes.
Right.
Yes, and I got to be in here covering for him. I don't like people covering for me, so sometimes something's going to happen. That's all right.
He's got it. Hey, Colonel Season's popcorn seasoning can turn what into what the what? Add interesting with Colonel Seasons today available in the popcorn aisle. I got to try some of this.
Do they make some air fresheners? We might.
They may.
Sounds like it probably smells better than what this place does right now.
I'm trying to load up on everything good that I can eat before I start next week with the chemo, because I've been told eating may be a little. The FU5 sometimes screws with your eating. Because
I can understand that.
Also, too, I had to go get the plastic utensils. Because I know from the last time that using a metal fork or knife, whatever, you're putting a fork in your mouth or a spoon in your mouth, that the taste, the metal taste is terrible. It can actually make you not want to eat.
Really?
Yeah. It's one of the weird side effects. I remember last time, that was one of the biggest side effects I had, is putting a spoon onto like my tongue or a fork, was I tasted the metal terribly. So we went and got heavy duty like plastic utensils to be able to do that and everything. So I'm trying to fit every good thing that I can eat into the next week, because I realize that for like around 6-month period, I'm probably not going to want to eat the same way. So I've got gonna get a cheesesteak. Gonna get my wife and daughter were kind enough. I made sure they made blueberry pie the other day.
Wow.
So I've had some
Look at you,
blueberry
the
pie.
All-American home.
Did they set it on the windowsill?
No, they do not.
Did you float when you smelled it?
I love. Who was that?
Coach was just floating.
Fred Flintstone?
I don't know. It used to be all old-timey cartoons.
Yes, they'd smell it and be like, "Oh, I love a blueberry pie." So that was great. Had some of that and everything.
Eating was such a big thing in cartoons back in our day,
Oh, yes.
wasn't it?
Yes.
So it just shows you that the people that were drawing up said cartoons were stoned out of their minds.
Yes.
Because all they had their characters doing was constantly looking for food.
Well, Shaggy and Scooby were constantly stoned.
Yeah.
From being in the back of the Mystery Machine.
Well, I assume that their creators were also, because they were creating them to be stoned.
All of those shows.
Yeah.
And wait a minute.
Fred Flintstone, you're right, used to float towards food. Everything was food in the
Brontosaurus
cartoons.
burgers.
Connor does it. Very good. The Bronto burgers.
Come on, dog.
All right, Connor doesn't even, though, understand. Connor, there was a drug culture series of shows that were made on Saturday morning television that you don't even probably know.
What shows?
HR Puffin stuff?
Nope.
HR.
Wait, is Puff the Magic Dragon part of this?
No.
Oh.
HR Puffin stuff.
No, I get it.
He's puffing stuff.
I've just never heard of it.
And it was like a land of make-believe, but it was absolutely a acid trip or a stone dream.
Well, yeah.
Sid and Marty Krofft made up all these shows. Sigmund the Sea Monster? Nothing. Right with you?
No.
Lidsville?
Nope.
Nothing. Coach, you remember
Coach
any of
is
these?
also saying
Coach, you
no.
got to remember this.
Lidsville?
You don't remember that one?
What's the one you said before that one?
Sigmund and the Sea Monsters? Johnny, the redheaded kid.
Are these hallucinations you've had?
No, this was the hallucinations were the shows.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Sid
saying.
Marty, the Bugaloos? Coach?
That's not real.
We must have grown
Coach,
up
you
in
don't remember the
different-
Bugaloos?
I kind of remember Puffin stuff.
HR Puffin stuff.
But
Who's
I
your friend when
don't-
things get rough?
I don't know the other ones.
HR Puffin stuff.
No.
Can't do a little, but you can't do enough.
Johnny Marley over here must have had a different childhood than
The
us.
Bugaloos were in the air and everywhere. They were like fireflies that were a rock band.
No wonder you married a
Yeah.
Jamaican. She was
Yes.
drawn to your scent.
By the way, they were all at the for the rehearsal dinner at the Marley house. So my niece got married on Saturday. Congratulations to
Nice.
Christelle and her new husband, and they unveiled their new. She's a little moguless. Is that a female mogul, or is a female mogul a mogul?
I think it's just
I
a
think
mogul.
Well, they have Hampton Estates Rum is the family rum company.
If it doesn't work out, tell her to call me.
And then she has Rum Fire, which is another rum. Well, they came out with another rum in honor of their wedding. That they now have another rum that the company is marketing.
Really?
In honor of their nuptials the other day. So they turned their wedding into a marketing thing now with another rum, and everybody at the wedding got a bottle of the new rum to take with them.
Oh, that's not bad.
It's called Rum Away
Wish I was
Bride.
invited.
No, it's Hampton Estates, and then the Rum Fire. You would be a fan of the Rum Fire, Con.
I'm a fan of everything.
The Rum Fire is sold in Jersey, but not sold in Pennsylvania.
Wow, you
I
guys
guess
couldn't
there's
handle
rules.
it over here.
I guess I think it's the jug handles. There's something about the jug handles that
See?
It helps you to be able.
Bobby, you hear this? They always go back to the one thing. Just because they can't understand a slight bend in the road.
It's not a slight bend in the road.
Yes, it is.
I got to tell you, when I was teaching my son Kyle how to drive, his biggest angst was, what the hell is up with these things they call jug handles?
And that's why he ran to South Carolina the first time he
Yes.
got a chance.
In Cherry Hill, New Jersey, you can go to a Total Wine and pick up Rum Fire. And you could help
near my
support,
house.
and you could help support my wife's family
I'll have to try that.
and my daughter's
Actually,
future.
We were just talking about picking up some rum for the summer drinks.
Well, then pick up Rum Fire
All right.
or Hampton Estate. You know, you can do anything Hampton Estate. You can do that and help support Christina and her family.
Tell her to throw some money at the show, and then we'll start talking.
It worked out. And once they get it into the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, we can do that. So Vegas set the exact win total that the Eagles are most likely to hit. In fact, Jimmy Shapiro sent it out to us from, and I want to make sure that I give the proper credit to, as he helps to promote this, from the Bet Online community. So the win total the Eagles are most likely to hit if you're betting on it, Connor.
Whew. So whole number. It's not a line.
It's a whole number. It's not a half.
I'm going to say 11.
Bobby, the number that the gambling sites say the Eagles are most likely to hit.
All right, so they open up at Patriots.
They have
I
17.
I
Yes,
have that as a W.
17 games, Bob.
Home against the Vikings.
17. Don't tell me that was yesterday.
I have a W.
That's it. 17.
I'll go most likely number they have. I'll say 12.
Coach, you have a guess?
I'm going to say 12 because it's on my sheet.
Oh, there it is. It is on the sheet. Yes, 12 is the exact number.
Sorry, John.
That's the best odds number. Connor, your number was second. 11. Then the next best odds are 10 and 13. So they go both ways. I love the 12
They go
number.
both ways?
I love the 12 number, and I would absolutely throw. I'd throw like $20 on the 12 number at 5-1 odds.
To hit it exactly.
Yes. Huh. I think the 12's a good number. Tougher schedule than last year, but I really love how the schedule breaks. And I'm sure, Bob, maybe next Wednesday you'll do more of the one-loss game with that when I'm getting my first chemo treatment. But I'd go 12 wins, 5-1, at 5-1 odds. I like it a lot. The 12.
I like 12.
Seems logical.
Yeah, 12 seems good.
Here's the only problem with 12. 12 might not get you the number one seed.
In the NFC, it might.
And you only get one bye week. Remember, only one team gets a bye.
Who wins more than 12 games in the NFC?
I think 49ers can win 12.
Okay.
I think they could be a 12-win team. I don't know if they're a 13-win team.
And I don't see any other team that's even a 12-win team. So you got one team you're worried about.
So you think 12's the number you got to get to, eh?
I think 12 could get it done. I'd feel a lot more comfortable with 13. I think 13's like the surefire one seed, but yeah, no one in the NFC is that good.
Yeah, I think 12 is pretty.
Like number one seed, you'd feel good with that one right now?
You probably have competition. I think Connor's right. 13 secures it.
Anybody in the NFC North?
Nah.
I'll tell you, NFC really doesn't.
Minnesota's not winning 12,
the Packers
right?
are going to stink. Minnesota's okay, but they got Kirk Cousins. They're
Detroit's
limited.
Yeah, they could win. That's a bad
Detroit
division.
doesn't have the quarterback.
Detroit's not winning 12.
I'll tell you who's probably most likely in that division to win 12 is Chicago.
What?
Yeah, because they have the highest.
What did they win last year? 5?
I know. They have the highest ceiling. I don't see any of those teams. But if a team's going to take a jump, because one of those teams would have to take a big jump.
That'd be an amazing jump.
Yeah, and that's what the Eagles did last year.
5 to 12, though? No, they went 5. They went from 9 to 13, right?
They had more than 13, didn't they?
14. They went to 9 to 14 last year.
We talk about San Francisco so much.
Remember regular season wins, Connor.
The most important position there is, they are in flux. Brock Purdy practice, he threw some, passes here and there. He's coming off of major surgery, and he had a nice run, a little bit of a run last year that wasn't expected. I don't know that this guy's good enough to lead them to a double-digit win season. Now, probably you need a manager in there that could do that, but I don't have all that much confidence in Brock Purdy and the 49ers to be challenging the Eagles.
I certainly don't either. I mean, to me, that doesn't. But I guess you make me feel better about that. I mean, 12 is probably the number you got to go. Could Dallas get to 12?
Oh yeah, they could.
They got to 12 last year.
They could.
I don't think they're going to, but they're capable of being in that conversation.
I think Dallas won 12 last year, didn't they? I think they were a 12-win team.
They might have been. Might have been.
Let me just go to the numbers.
If only we could look
from
this
last
up.
year. I am right now. Dallas was 12-5 last year.
Well, there you go.
So they could be 12. Minnesota won 13.
They won't do that again because they're going to move Dalvin Cook and they're going to take a step back.
49ers won 13.
Yeah.
Now, Seattle won 9. The Rams are going to be awful. The Rams won 5 last year. I don't think they're necessarily going to win 5 this year or more than 5.
Right.
And Arizona's going to be terrible.
So bad.
San Francisco could not be very good and they have 2 of the worst teams in football in their division. I think the Rams and Cardinals will be picking top 5 next year.
Yeah, but the Eagles get Sam Howell twice. They get the Giants twice, and you own them. You get Dallas twice, which is winnable. I mean,
1-1.
Yeah, exactly.
You split with Dallas almost every year.
So if you're telling me you're going 5-1 in division, that's pretty comparable to what you see from the 49ers.
Comparable or comparable? Since we did the Vaz thing earlier. Comparable or comparable? I say comparable.
Yeah, it depends on the day.
I never say comparable.
I go more comparable, but I have said comparable. I think when I'm reading comparable, it comes out comparable. I think when I'm talking, it's comparable.
Because we used the Vaz and the vase earlier.
No, you used vase.
I used vase.
None of us use vase.
Yes,
we all say vase.
That you put a vase.
Yeah, I'm a vase guy, but I'm either comparable or comparable. Depends.
What about that body of water that we talked about the other day?
The Darby.
The creek?
Creek, yeah.
Nobody in Delco calls it the Darby Creek.
I'm not a crick guy.
It's Darby Crick is just sort of a name that just stuck.
Nah.
Now, we have a crick that runs through the East Goshen Park.
No, you have a crick in your neck. You have a creek that runs through the East Goshen Park.
I got a nasty scar on my neck. I got to tell the kids. I got 8 grandchildren someday. Grandpa fought off a shark.
Yeah?
To save your mother. See?
And they're going to say, why did you save her?
Your kids wouldn't even have been born if I hadn't fought off that shark.
Good luck with that story.
Hey, you never know. Kids are
stupid.
Kids are stupid when they're little.
Yeah, like 6.
When they're little.
I think my son's listening right now, Bobby. So again, I just want to wish
birthday.
him a happy birthday. Yeah, because he's driving to work. So now that we're talking about kids real quick.
Good job, Bob.
Yeah.
Now is he stupid? Because you said stupid.
No,
Kids are
he's one of the
stupid.
smartest kids
Well,
I
there you
know.
go. See? So there he is.
He's unbelievably smart. Yeah.
Loves baseball, too.
He was born during the Phillies-Padres game. Afternoon game. I'll never forget it. We were in the hospital, and I had it on the TV, and he was born during the Phillies-Padres game. I believe the Phillies won 2-0, but I'm not.
Was this when they were
I
wearing...
may have missed a little something.
When they were wearing the ugly, like, poop brown and gold, the Padres?
I don't remember what uniforms they had on that day, but I've never liked the Padres uniform.
I don't like anything about the Padres color scheme or otherwise.
When they were wearing the camos for a little bit, those are
no, those are good. The Sunday afternoon games.
Yeah, but their normal colors are not good.
God, they're terrible. I can't believe they're like the Cleveland Browns of baseball.
And you could do so much better in that city. Like, it's a very aesthetically pleasing city, and you went with brown and gold.
Wonder why they did that.
Coach, talk to your home city and tell them to figure out their color scheme.
Why did they go with that?
I mean, the Chargers got light blue and gold, and that
Powder
was beautiful.
blue, right?
Right.
Coach graduated from a college whose colors are poop and pee.
What?
Rowan.
Yeah. Didn't you? I thought you went to Rowan.
I did. I don't remember.
Their
the
colors are
yellow.
brown and gold.
I know it's the profs, but I didn't know they were brown and gold.
How did you go to a school and not know what the school colors are?
I don't remember that.
Are you colorblind?
Wait a minute, you don't remember your school's colors?
No.
Are you kidding me?
I'm not kidding.
Red and blue and cherry and white. Those are my alma maters.
Yeah. I didn't care about that stuff.
Man, that's amazing to me that you don't know your school's colors.
Phillies won 7-1 the day my son was born at San Diego. Kurt Schilling was the winning pitcher.
Was there blood on the sock that day, or you hadn't put it on with the nail polish?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
Kurt.
Time of the game was only 2 hours and 27 minutes.
Oh, that pitch clock.
How do you like that?
Kurt Schilling was talking the other day on the internet about his clubhouse. And just he put a tweet out about his clubhouse and how his clubhouse, what they thought of members of the media. And I had to respond. I hate taking the cheese, but I had to respond. And I said, Kurt, your clubhouse was one of the greatest assemblages of a-holes that I'd ever met in my entire life. And it was one of the first clubhouses I ever went in all of sports. And I thought that was the way clubhouses were going to be in pro sports. Thank God they weren't. I've never been in a worse one, and thank God it just happened to be the first one. He's a strange cat, man. Great pitcher. Loved rooting for him, but a strange cat, man. He's out there. A little bit out there.
A little bit.
That Kurt. Dave Altamari sends along a note.
What's up, Dave?
He was listening to the Schwarber conversation earlier this morning, and he said, Bob and the guys are missing your point for some reason. So, David, I'm going to let him say it. He says the commonality of something, Schwarber batting leadoff, doesn't necessarily affect the result, especially when that player has been such a poor hitter. For example, what's the record when Harper is batting in the 3 spot at the same time that Schwarber's leading off? What's the record when Bohm bats 5th and Schwarber's leading off? You can't ignore all the other common things that go along with Schwarber batting leadoff.
We're not. That's not. We're not saying that. We're saying that it's nonsensical. I'm not saying that they're winning because Schwarber is. I'm saying that there's one number out there that makes them want to put Schwarber at the leadoff, and that's the number that says they're 70-47 in the 117 games. I'm not saying it makes sense. None of us made the argument that it makes sense. Like you and
I guess if I'm arguing something, I want to think that it makes sense what I'm arguing. You know what I mean? I'm making a point and I'm going, okay, because here's what it is. It makes sense. What I'm arguing makes sense. Like, I don't get, again, that's a really good point by David saying that Schwarber bats leadoff. I guarantee you that in 95%, no, you can't say 95% because Harper was down for a good portion of games last year. But most of the time, Harper bats third. Does that have to, is Harper being third? Like, I don't know.
There's just so much that goes into it. Like, we don't need to dissect the reasoning behind it. I'm sure there's someone in the Phillies organization that's in a back office, has horn-rimmed glasses taped together, that is trying to figure out. Yeah, exactly. But
No,
in
you
like
got new ones.
But Pat's is in like I broke my glasses out of anger way. This is more like a nerdy tape way. But they're sitting back there trying to figure out why Kyle Schwarber works as a leadoff hitter. But we don't have to figure that out. All we need to know is they win when he's there. Let's continue to do this and see how it plays out. And if they keep winning with him at the leadoff spot, you just leave him there.
And David said we weren't getting your point. No, we said it was inexplicable. There is no point here. That was David, you're the one that's not getting the point, actually.
That it's inexplicable.
That it's inexplicable. We went through numbers, all that stuff, and it doesn't matter. We can't explain it. It's just when he's in the leadoff spot, they're 70 and 47. That's why the team puts him there. There's no other explanation for it except when they put him there, they win.
Okay, would you put this to the same, and it sort of goes along with Connor's shirt. The Phillies wear their Sunday Reds, and their record was like 18-3. Do you put a correlation to, look, you got to wear the Reds. It's good luck.
Kind of, yeah.
Do you?
A little bit.
I could see that for something like, I'm not very superstitious. So I don't
You're
have
a little stitious.
No, but I don't have very good. I don't have a lot of superstitions that I follow. I will like that I worry about or that I even concern myself with. But I guess a game that is as psychological as baseball, as Tim Kirchin talked about the other day, that maybe there's more to it in that sport than other sports. The way it gets into your head.
I think it's just the length of it. I really think it is. You have such a long season. Routine is so important, and routine often gets crossed with superstition because they're super close to each other. Like you could say, I'm superstitious. I have to put this sock on first and that sock on first. But really, it's just what you do every day. The difference is they're playing every day.
Well, you do sock, shoe, shoe unless you're a psychopath.
No. You do. Oh, yes. Sock, shoe. Correct.
Only psychopaths
go sock,
do
shoe,
sock, shoe.
I change up. I always do left foot first.
Oh, well, that's different. I don't care what side you do.
I could do, I do left foot all the time first. Sometimes I will do sock, shoe.
Well, you should be
Most
in jail.
times I'm sock,
They should
shoe,
put
shoe.
you. They should have you under observation. Then.
Yes.
I don't think that's true.
Your other foot isn't cold while you're putting your shoe on your left foot?
We don't have sock, shoe people that listen to this show.
Cold? Seriously?
I don't
you get
know,
out of the
man.
shower, you put your shoes and socks on like you're worried about one of your feet getting cold?
Yeah, you're not keeping your feet even. They want to be even, okay? They're the same feet, just different size. So you go sock,
My
shoe,
left
shoe.
foot is a half size bigger than my right foot.
What?
That's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Your shoe sizes are like different by a half size? What did you do to them?
I don't
Did you break the foot or something?
No.
I'm thinking maybe the bones fused and it got a little bigger. You were just born that way. I found out through the scans and everything, that I'm my one leg is like an eighth of an inch shorter than the other. I did not know that ever. So there you go.
Wow,
you
we got old left
these
foot and Limpy in there hosting the morning
the way
show.
it works.
Love this.
Limpy and Bob in the mornings. 9 o'clock hour is brought to you by the Bagster. It's a dumpster and a bag. You can get yours today at Home Depot and Lowe's. And for details, go to Bagster.com. Something I brought up with Adam Schefter, I'm going to bring up with the guys next. I have a philosophical discussion on what some people consider to be a vice. John Kincade Show, 97.5. We hope that we are your
Smartphone, Roku, LG Smart TV, Waze, and more. That's Odyssey, AUDACY. Check it out now. Now, back to the John Kincade Show on 97.5 The Fanatic, Philadelphia.
John Kincade Show on 97.5 The Fanatic. Appreciate you being with us this morning. Tell your family, tell your friends. We love you in there. And if you want to train for a career in broadcast media, web development, social media marketing, filmmaking, you could do it at CSB Media Arts Center in Cherry Hill at gocsb.com. That's gocsb.com. I never thought of CSB and filmmaking.
Oh, yeah. We had people in my class when I went there that were very interested in camera work, producing films, stuff like that.
See, I thought everything. Camera work, I didn't think, though, of like I didn't think about that like a filmmaker.
Well, I think a lot of filmmakers get their start by doing passion projects or independent movies, and a lot of those times you have to film more than one role, so you have to know how to operate a camera. You have to know how to sound mix and stuff like that, editing of that type. So that's important. They can teach you all those things.
Look what you're doing.
Oh, well.
You produce behind the scenes.
It's all right.
You run the board. You chime in on the conversation.
That's true.
I mean, you're doing it all.
Host.
Plus
and you're
I
a
smell.
CSB. You're a CSB guy.
Yeah.
You and Devon and Tom, Dan.
Yep.
Who else around here? Anybody else?
I think that covers it.
I have a friend of a friend who just graduated from CSB last week.
Fantastic.
And I forgot to ask you, Coach and Chuck. Is it okay if he comes in tomorrow and just speaks with you? Okay, cool.
Have him come and watch some of the show.
I might do that. I'll get in touch with him.
Have him come on in, see if he wants to watch some of the show.
That's
see what's going on.
Heck of a way to get an interview is to ask live on air.
I got my first student who is now part of the team here at 97.5 The Fanatic. Silvana's in the house now.
Silvana, that's right.
She is in the house, an exceptional student.
Well, she's named after a learning center. Or is that Sylvan?
That's Sylvan Learning Center.
That's close enough.
She wouldn't have needed that.
She was named after a television.
She was an exception.
Sylvania.
Sylvania, I don't think that was the case.
I think it was.
She was but absolutely exceptional student. I mean, really good. Is Stat Menarch also a CSB? He's pointing to himself.
Oh, yeah, he is. Sorry, Stat.
And Stat Menarch is also a CSB.
There's so many of them out here.
But now we got the Temple pipeline. Shalchunas and I are trying to pump into that Temple pipeline, too. Ray Dunn. That was a nice draft. Look, I mean, if Danny Briere hits on Ray Dunn like this, come on, Coach.
I don't know. I wouldn't go Ray.
Youth pastor Ray Dunn?
Yeah, I mean, Silvana, maybe. Yes. Not Ray.
You pump in on Ray Dunn. I mean, that's a good draft. If Danny Briere hits on a Ray Dunn with a later round draft pick, that's pretty good.
It's not bad. He's no Dylan McKinnon.
Dylan McKinnon?
Well, Dylan McKinnon's the Connor Bedard. We tanked for Dylan.
We did, and I mean, that was the Rutgers pipeline, right?
And we're reaping the benefits of
yes, we are.
With him and Tyrone.
Right, exactly.
Part of that Rutgers pipeline.
Well, Tyrone was an additional. Like, Dylan is the prize there. Everyone scouted Tyrone. They're like, Tyrone's a great piece. But Dylan, we're like, we saw a diamond in the rough.
So we tanked for him?
Yes.
Thank you for tanking. Thank you for tanking to get Dylan in here.
Hello.
Which is great. I have a philosophical discussion for you, and I was just disagreeing with Chucky D, the boss man, on this one. These NFL betting scandals with players now, as you see, a Colts cornerback is going to be suspended for placing between 50 and 100 bets ranging from $20 to $50 a piece. That's the range. Do you believe that pro athletes should be able to gamble in casinos or place bets on apps as long as it's not on their own sport? I personally believe that pro athletes absolutely should be welcome at any time to place a bet on a sport that's not their own. I don't understand what I'm all for. You shouldn't be able to bet on your sport. I get it. Even though I want to see Pete Rose in the Hall of Fame, and I think he should be there, I absolutely believe I understand it, and I say, okay, I'm fine with it if you say don't let players bet on their own sport. But the way gambling is so pervasive in society today, I don't understand this part of it or the outrage of it being that they shouldn't be allowed to bet on pro sports.
Yeah, I think a lot of people look at athletes and they dehumanize them.
Explain a little bit on that.
They shouldn't be out eating at 10 o'clock at night before a big game. Or
okay, I get you. I get you.
Why aren't they home in bed by 11 o'clock? While I saw this guy at the strip club. He shouldn't be there. Well, why are you there? They're human beings. They're human beings first and foremost. The betting's legal. I don't know if sports people are some of the most competitive in the world. Betting's competitive. We saw it with Michael Jordan. I don't have a problem with them betting on other sports. If the law
not on your own sport, you shouldn't.
That's fine. If the law's laid down by your sport not to bet on your sport, I have no problems with that. Now, Chuck's argument was, yeah, but they might know people personally on other teams and gain some kind of an advantage. Okay, we not for nothing. Let's take my friend Rock. His son played Division I hockey. He knows some NHL players. Should Rock not be allowed to bet on hockey?
We have inside. We get inside information on teams and sports,
sure,
and athletes all the time. I don't get it. I don't understand the outrage of it.
No, if it's legal, I think they should be able to do anything. If you want to make the stipulation, you can't do it on your own sport.
That's what I would.
Totally fine. Totally fine with that.
And I would say, don't do that. And I'm an O'Hara guy saying that. That's saying something.
Yeah, but
that's saying something.
I mean, you're right. Their own sport should be off limits. Outside of that, why would they not be able to? If I'm a hockey player, why would I not be able to bet the NBA Finals right now? That seems insane to me.
I thought it was crazy that they still will test an athlete, and I'm glad to see the NFL moving off it, NBA moving off it, for marijuana. If marijuana's legal for Joe the accountant, Connor the talk show host, or anybody else, I don't believe that an athlete should not be allowed to smoke marijuana or to consume it as a gummy or whatever. I don't understand why people think there should have been different rules about that.
Right. There's an argument to be made for people in that space, like people with that type of following, with that type of platform, to be held to a higher standard when it comes to certain things, but a higher standard when it makes sense. This is just nonsensical. It's stuff that they should be able to do that does not affect really anything logically, but for some reason it's restricted.
I know people would be in a $500 or $600 fantasy football league that they pay $500 or $600 to be in their fantasy football league.
Yeah. Well, I was going to take
that's
it there.
gambling, right? That's gambling.
Yes. We had a guy back in my old job that did a story every week talking to baseball players, football players about the fantasy leagues that they were in.
And there's money involved. They're not doing it just for fun.
Right. So do you go to does the NFL go to each player and say, are you playing fantasy football? Because that's gambling on your sport. You shouldn't do it.
By the way,
I don't know. Maybe that could be a rule, and I would understand it.
I know NFL players who play fantasy football or who played fantasy football during their careers. I absolutely know one that had fantasy teams. So
That's
is
not
that
a secret?
So is that illegal?
No, I don't think so.
I mean, it's I know that in clubhouses in baseball, the fantasy football drafts are a big deal.
That's
fine. a big deal.
We had somebody slap somebody in the face at a baseball game last year over a fantasy game. Yeah.
Let's take it to this level.
Okay.
If the NFL is going to come down in all sports, they're going to come down on their athletes not to bet on their sport. This sounds weird, but I don't mind them telling them also you're not to play fantasy
sport,
whatever sport, not sports.
Okay.
I don't have a problem with NFL players playing fantasy baseball. If I'm the commissioner of the NFL and I hear that my players are playing fantasy football, is there a way to curtail you playing fantasy football with your family or something like that? No, but I would make it a suggestion. I would say we prefer you not playing fantasy football. I mean, that leads right to, okay, a defensive back on the Eagles, and I have a wide receiver on another team, and we're up 28-0. Watch how funny this is. I don't know. I think that's going to happen?
But you don't know.
You don't. So I am for pro athletes not betting on their sport, and I would even take it to the fantasy part of it.
Yeah, I mean, it just seems strange to me.
Right.
It is like it's a strange hill to die on.
But we also have to remember how new of a space it is. I know gambling may feel like it's been around forever, but in the capacity it's in now, it's never been as big.
The legality of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
But it's kind of like when we talked about the NIL in college and how this is going to open up a whole new can of worms that you've never thought about for the legality or the processes of the way things are done. And I think that naturally leagues are behind on what should be the proper protocol because they'd rather be more cautious. They'd rather say you can't bet on any professional sport, and then they can always repeal that in the future. So I think it's coming. I just think they're slow to it because this is such a new thing for them to deal with legally that they don't want to jump the gun and open up something that can't be undone.
Seamus on Twitter wants to check in on his dad with a happy birthday shout out. Jimmy Doyle listens to us every morning.
What's
Happy
up,
birthday,
Jimmy?
Happy birthday.
A lot of birthdays today.
Uh-huh.
What happened 9 months ago?
It's a great time to have a birthday. As somebody who's born December 23rd.
Trying to go back
I
9
wish my
months.
parents had planned things a little bit differently. Hate my birthday. There may not
hate your birthday.
December 23rd is terrible birthday.
Really?
Terrible birthday.
What's
it's
a
never,
good birthday?
Because everybody.
Why is it terrible?
June 7th would be an amazing birthday.
I think all birthdays are the same.
No,
not remotely.
Bob,
No, are you kidding me?
December 23rd, everybody is absolutely distracted. Last minute shopping, Christmas parties, family gatherings, things
So
like
you didn't get honored enough on your birthday.
No,
in
you
your
don't
life.
have your birthday is always it's like being there's everything else is going on in the world. June 7th. If I could sign on, I'd say I would like to change my birthday to June 7th and have it be that it's at a better time
can't do
of
it.
year.
It's already my
no, they
son's
don't
birthday.
let you.
No.
They don't let you do that. I mean, it's just not fair to me.
Nah, I mean, yeah, there are bad birthdays out there. Like, I got a buddy I play softball with, CJ. His birthday is the 4th of July. People are always out of town for his birthday. Like,
gosh.
What are you looking for from a birthday?
I don't know, man. A good time. Sometimes that's hard to do when people have other plans.
4th of July, everybody has a good time. So
Yeah, but they have other plans. They want to be with family. They got barbecues. It's hard to get all your buddies together.
Do you get all your buddies together on your birthday all the time?
Sometimes. I don't know.
Sometimes.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be the
Yeah, you
perfect
do.
day every
I mean,
time,
your friends
but-
get together for your birthday, don't they? Like especially when you're younger, your friends taking you out for a beer, going out for a party or something like that. Having birthday, it sucked. Joe, we would celebrate Joe's birthday down the shore. My buddy Joe, his birthday's Bastille Day, July 14th.
So you can't have a birthday on Bastille Day. You're overshadowed.
July 14th. One of the greatest days ever.
That damn French
like
Revolution.
middle of the summer. Nothing's distracting you from it on July 14th.
It was never a big deal. Birthdays weren't a big deal when I was growing up. And I'm half-heartedly kidding you here. So, yeah, I never thought of my mom's birthday was on Christmas.
Oh, jeez.
That sucks.
That's worse than mine. You're sharing it with Jesus.
Right.
Your birthday's
If
always.
you're going to share something with somebody in your world, wouldn't Jesus be the person to share it with?
No, I share mine with Susan Lucci.
Who?
Yeah.
You don't even know who Susan Lucci is. Come on. Come on.
Why would I know who Susan Lucci is?
Just Google her. She's adorable.
I'm sure, but like,
She's like your grandmother. But by the way, Vinny Gallo, love Coach Vinny, checks in. He goes, John, I'm not an O'Hara grad, but I'm pretty sure their colors are navy and maroon. Vinny, it's my alma mater. Even in the alma mater as we sing our song, it is fight, fight, stand up and fight for O'Hara red and blue. We don't say fight, fight, get out and fight for O'Hara, navy and maroon. No.
Well, nothing really rhymes good with maroon.
It's red and blue.
Moon.
It looks
come on.
maroonish.
Seriously though, Bob, I would not say to you, like Vinny's doing to me, I would not go to you, Bob, I think Camden Catholic's colors are, I would say, Bob's going to know more about Camden Catholic than I do. He's going to have a little bit more. He's going to have a little bit more.
You can't confuse the green with anything.
By the way, it's
Maroon, red.
Camden Catholic.
What color is Temple? Is that maroon?
Cherry and white.
Come
cherry, maroon, red. Like you
It's
got
the
a big
cherry and the
family
white.
of redness there. Green is just green.
Kelly Green, Forest Green.
Forrest Whitaker.
It's not. Yeah,
We're off the
Very
rails.
well worked there.
We're off the board.
Okay, there we go. I'm going to ask you. I'll ask you this now. Would you be okay if today Daryl Morey all of a sudden had a Danny Briere moment, and we were sort of clubbed over the head with a shocking surprise deal. Now, it would have to be a blockbuster deal. So I'm going to limit it to Embiid, Harden sign and trade, or Tyrese Maxey. What do you think the reaction would be if today, by the time Cuz Radio gets over and Best Show Ever's on, Tyrone and the whole crew are discussing Daryl Morey pulling off a blockbuster that nobody expected? Now, I'm just doing whatever day it is. This could be done on July 10th. But the day that Danny Briere had yesterday, all of a sudden, we don't expect that Daryl Morey trades Tyrese Maxey in a major deal, or pulls off a sign and trade with James Harden, or the unthinkable to most, trades Joel Embiid. What do you think the reaction of the fan base would be? They're giving up?
So is the assumption that this is like a trade to get draft picks like
you could
the Flyers trade?
Anything you want to make it.
Okay.
It could be that he's picking up high draft pick for this year. He's picking up a new young talent. He's just shaking up the roster. But if they moved Embiid, Harden in a sign and trade, or Maxey, what do you think the reaction would be of the fan base? And what do you think? What do you think he'd be doing? Would he be doing like you're saying? Would he be bold? Would he be bold and do something that says, let's jumpstart a retooling? Or would it be something where he says, I'm going to sign and trade James Harden and look what I'm doing. We're in good shape to win next year.
Sign and trade James Harden would go over okay with the fan base, I believe.
I think it would be approved by the majority of the fan base. 51% more. I don't think Harden has the support here. I really don't. I don't think people are excited to see him
I think you can expand that.
What do you mean?
I don't think right now, because we are a reactive town, I don't think the Sixers have the support here.
It's not bad. Not bad. No, I don't disagree with you. No,
People
I don't disagree
will come
with you.
back and things will get better and all. But right now, and maybe for the foreseeable future until the season starts, I don't know if this town, if the Sixers have the majority support of this town, you said about Harden.
Would that be something, if they moved one of those three and shook up this roster and let's just say did something that puts them in a position to either be as strong as they were this year or maybe gets them a little younger and a little more athletic or whatever it is? Do you think? I think the majority of fans in this town will be all over it.
It depends on the player. There is a wide margin between a James Harden sign and trade and getting rid of Joel Embiid. A wide margin.
Oh, no, they're absolutely.
So,
what about Maxey, though?
Maxey might be the most negative out of any of them.
If they got rid of him?
Yeah.
You're close on that. And look, we're not saying they're going to trade Joel Embiid. We know the Sixers aren't into getting rid of Joel Embiid.
Why? Who's saying that?
I don't.
Oh.
I agree with you. I think that maybe it is
Took you
not
a couple,
a wider,
but
no, because I'm thinking this out as I'm trying to talk. I don't think there's a margin between Embiid and Maxey that's wide.
Right.
Maybe they're about even.
I think Maxey is more, for what he does, is more universally loved.
I think
if you get supported.
If you take somebody, give me an initial reaction, they'll go, oh, Maxey, no. But then when they think about it, they go, wait
look
a
what you
minute,
could get.
Wait a minute,
Right.
not Joel Embiid.
Well,
Are you kidding me?
If you moved Embiid and Maxey was still here, you could say, okay, we've got a young guy that we could try to build something around.
You can't build around a Tyrese Maxey. Everybody knows that.
I know you can't, but it's what would keep you from the process part two.
I don't think that Tyrese Maxey can be part of a big two.
No, listen, I don't think so either. My point is,
and I'm not trying to degrade him or anything.
Right.
Like, I'm a big Maxey fan. I think he has to be part of it. I think he has to be the third piece.
I think it's simply an age thing. If you move Tyrese Maxey, what do you have coming down the pipe?
Okay.
Who can you have young that's going to exist outside of Joel Embiid's championship window?
Yeah, I mean, seriously, you don't. That's why I'm really anti-Harden. And I'm absolutely
really? I never would have got that.
But I am proud. But I'm proud to say I was never a Harden truther. That I believed from day one that James Harden was exactly who I thought he was, and it's proven out. 2 years, it's proven out to be true.
So
that in the biggest games, you can't count on him.
His story might not be over here yet.
It might not be.
It is looking a lot more in the direction of the way you've always felt about him than the way some people were positive about him. I just look at the two guys. You move Harden in a sign and trade, positive. You move Embiid. It would be negative because he's so good right now, but you could see, okay, we could get a lot from him. If you're moving Maxey, I don't know what the direction of your team is if you're moving him, because I don't think you get someone good enough to put you over the hump. And I don't understand how much more of a window you have with Joel Embiid that would justify moving a player like that.
By the way, were the Halliburton talks in any way documented by anyone that there was legitimately an opportunity to get him in the Simmons deal?
I think it was more rumor than anything
More
else.
speculation.
Yeah.
So nobody ever came out and said like that was something that was probably on the table.
Not that I ever saw, no.
Because I would have done that
on the table. Like, was it there to be had? I don't know. Was it discussed? I'm sure it was.
Well, a lot of things were probably discussed, right?
Yeah, I don't think there was any like real stuff there.
I mean, can you imagine that? Can you imagine if they had made that deal in the because I think you'd be better. I think you'd be better.
What, Halliburton and Embiid, Maxey is the
if
three?
you had brought in Halliburton and somebody else in a deal and had the flexibility of not. That would just be me. I think you're a younger team where you point to your thing, Connor. You're more athletic. You're a much more athletic team.
Right.
You're faster. You're younger. You're not playing iso ball like it's like 1995 offensive basketball.
On the flip side, though, James Harden's been to a finals. He's been to multiple Western Conference finals. I mean, he's a guy that you've seen succeed at the playoff level to some extent. Well, you've seen a James Harden-led team succeed to some extent at the playoff level. Tyrese Halliburton, you didn't have that. So if you're going to go get him in Joel Embiid's window, you got to be super confident he can be that guy.
Let's see what Brad in Center City has to say. Brad, I think you think I'm asinine, or the comments were.
Yeah, it's insane. You're like, oh, I was never a Harden truther. So were you ever an Embiid truther then? Because I don't understand. I mean, the guy's never gotten out of the second round.
No, I've never been an Embiid truther.
Okay, so
I've always been Brad. I think I'm on the scale. I am probably too critical of Joel Embiid. But James Harden is exactly who I thought he was, that in Game 6s and Game 7s, he arguably has the worst stats of any star player ever. And it's plenty of opportunities to show differently. We've seen it 2 years in a row. Game 5 and Game 6 versus Miami last year. Game 6 and Game 7 versus Boston this year. Absolutely gutless, empty performances from a guy who when he wants to can take over a game.
See, no, this is where I think you're wrong. Number one, he won 2 games in that series on his head by himself.
Game 1 was amazing, by the way.
Well, he won 2, though. He literally won 2 on his back by himself without anybody else's help, essentially, okay? Now, in Game 6, you got Harden because he's the second option, but also because he's probably the best facilitator in the NBA, or at least the best passer in the NBA at this point in time. He's just always able to find somebody open. What do you want him to do when he's shooting bad, but at the end of the game, he's finding an open melon in the corner, wide open, and the guy misses shots? What do you want him to do?
He wasn't even
shooting well, so he found options with open shots. Like, what would you
Brad. Is this Mr. Harden's brother? I don't know. Because Brad, you're very here's it is. When he doesn't last year, we sat through a Game 5 and a Game 6 when he wouldn't shoot the damn ball. So what was that? Oh, it's just trying to be a facilitator? They needed him to shoot last year, and he wouldn't shoot. When the pressure in the season was on the line, he wouldn't shoot. I don't understand what point you're making here.
You're talking about last year.
Yes, I am. I've talked about last year and this year.
Everyone noticed he was hurt. He didn't even have a first step.
Okay.
But this year, how well did he do this year facilitating the whole season? Not just like a piece of the season, the whole season, and then he played well in the playoffs.
He didn't play well. He played great certain nights, and he played in the crapper other nights.
That's when you need players like Embiid to step up and win you those games. But he can't, apparently.
Well, I mean, look, I absolutely. I'm not going to defend Brad. I'm not defending Joel Embiid in Game 6 and Game 7 was weak. It was a pathetic effort. But seriously, you're going to think this is a talking point around the whole NBA. Playoff Harden. Watch any one of the NBA. Watch NBA on TNT. Watch the ESPN shows. Watch it. Playoff Harden is a thing. Whether you want to deny it or not, it's a thing.
I think one of Brad's, the way he was going about it was, what about playoff Embiid?
And I said, I'm not defending
Yeah.
Embiid. Game 6 and Game 7, Embiid was soft serve. But we were getting the knee grimaces and everything like we did in the Hawks series and everything like that. And then we never saw anything come of that. Never saw anything come of it. Nobody has to text Bob, by the way. Brian in Northeast Philly joins us. Brian, good morning. You're on The Fanatic.
It's crazy how we're just debating two perennial Hall of Famers, but they keep choking in the playoffs, the two of them. I mean, it's just
but
it's
people want to ignore it like it didn't happen.
Yeah, I mean, they're just not paying attention then if they're. But hey, look, I got a fix. I don't know if they can do it. I'm not a GM, but I would like them to try to get rid of Toby and Harden and bring in Van Vliet and Middleton. They're both free agents. Maybe new sign and trades, whatever.
Who was the first one?
Van Vliet.
Isn't it? Van Vliet.
Bob, first of all, Brian, hold on a second here. Bob, how easy is a sign and trade to execute?
Well,
and do you think if a guy wants to go to one town and if a guy wants to go to one city, I think Harden's camp is the one selling Houston.
Oh, yeah, there's no question.
I don't think the Houston Rockets are.
There's not a whole bunch of interest in James Harden, it appears.
And that should be a warning sign. The lights should be going off for everybody. There's a reason. If Harden was the player that the last caller is trying to convince you that he is, there would be NBA teams lined up knocking down the door to get James Harden.
Would you say he's a top 5 point guard in the league?
Non-playoffs, yes.
Brian, how about you? Top 5 point guard in the league?
Who, Van Vliet or Harden?
No, Harden.
Not anymore.
Okay.
I can't say he is. I mean, when he comes up twice in 7 games, to help win a series, no, he can't be a top 5 because the top 5 guy will perform in those games.
Thank you, Brian. Think of how many great players we'll talk about. Like, think of the greatest players of every franchise in NBA history. How many of them do we ever discuss? But in the playoffs, they have a history of crapping out. We haven't beaten Harden. I don't think you can show me another franchise that they're two sort of Hall of Fame level star players. When you talk about them in the playoffs, the discussion is the first thing that's discussed is them not coming through.
Yeah, it's funny. The other night I was watching, I forget what it was, but there was highlights of Barkley playing with Phoenix in the playoffs, scoring 45 points and his team losing. It just came into my head.
And Charles gets busted on, by the way, for not winning.
Oh, sure. He's doing a commercial of himself, a younger self not winning championships. Would we rather have Harden, Embiid scoring 35 each and them still losing?
Yes.
Why? What difference does it make?
Every time, because then I'd say...
What difference does it make?
Because then
I'm not defending it. This is just a thought that came into my head.
Because I'd say, Daryl Morey, go find a situational piece, a complementary piece to get two great players that show up in clutch times when it's the most important to get them over the top. I'm not talking about my star players in the most clutch moments in the clutch games that they just can't come through. There's a big difference.
Those guys are scoring 30 apiece for me in a game, and I need to win. I'm not looking elsewhere to get points from somebody else.
Yeah, but
if I have two guys that are dominating the offensive end.
Okay, do you not think Sixers fans would feel much better about losing to Boston if Embiid and Harden combined for 65 points in the last 2 games?
No, I think they'd feel worse.
No, I do not.
Yeah.
No,
I think they'd be because they'd be saying, everybody first of all would be saying, we'll take Harden back. We'll take Harden back because he showed up in Game 6 and Game 7. And everybody would be saying Joel Embiid showed us that when the season was on the line, he balled out. We didn't win, but man, he gave everything he got on the court.
You really think that would be the lead part of the story for a fan?
Well, I think everybody'd still be pissed they lost. But it would feel a lot better. A lot better than the gutless way they went out.
I don't know. I kind of like the feeling of saying these guys might still be able to reach this ceiling. I don't like the idea of we saw James Harden and Joel Embiid play their best and you still lost.
Yeah, but you'd feel better about them coming back that that under pressure, biggest games of the year, they both showed out.
Well, let me put it this way. So. They threw out the best they could do, and they still couldn't win.
Right.
How about that?
Then I'd say there's got to be a better supporting cast because the stars showed up and put out and did everything that they could.
I'll tell you, it's and I've been saying this for years. This supporting cast thing is what drives me nuts. And maybe it's something they can't do. Maybe you can't put a supporting cast around your biggest star and figure out how to win. Because they've tried everything.
Or like Egan has brought up many times, when the buyout market comes, you don't have players wanting to flock here to try to win a championship.
I don't know about that.
They were in for guys that had passed on and gone to other teams before.
Yeah, that's fine. That doesn't mean they didn't want to come here. You know, like if somebody offers me $1 million more a year or whatever, I'm probably going to take that. A Dallas team or something like that. Okay, I can go there and they have a shot at winning.
So you're going to Dallas for money?
Wait a minute.
Let's clip that.
Anybody's going to go anywhere for money.
Bob going Dallas? Okay, so Preston and Steve come down with a big bag of cash today. You say you're walking out on us?
Damn straight.
Oh, jeez.
Wow.
Hey, one last caller. Mike from Delran brings it to the table. Mikey, bring us out.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I'm not pissed off that the Sixers lost to the Celtics. I'm pissed off that Harden and Embiid for 5 quarters gave me as much effort as my 5-year-old does when I tell him to clean his room. Go Birds!
Wait, oh, man. You still there?
No, but I mean, it's the truth.
He starts off his statement that I'm not that mad that the Sixers lost to the Celtics.
No,
sorry, dude.
I am not. If Embiid and Harden played their asses off, first of all, I'm saying Harden proved me wrong and showed me that he's ready.
That's not the first thing you're saying. No,
and showed me that. No,
you're
but it's going to be
yourself.
that I would say those two guys balled out. Somebody else let them down because I got everything I wanted out of my stars.
No, I say this respectfully. You'd come in and say, see, Harden still couldn't get him over the top, even though Connor.
Listen,
I think
you're the judge here.
I think I'm the first person to admit on the show when I have a take that's terrible.
At least we settled the Kyle Schwarber leadoff
time.
situation. That's all I'm worried about today.
Hey, they close out the series tonight with Detroit.
47.
Come on, let's get it tonight.
Inexplicable.
We'll see what happens. This is inexplicable. You know, cancer research, it needs cash to survive. Join us on our generous partners, Pierce Phelps, Bryant Heating and Air Conditioning Dealers, and make a donation today to the American Association for Cancer Research. Do it at 97.5thefanatic.com/AACR because cancer research saves lives. Got a few people wanted, you know what, tomorrow we'll pick this up again at some point because I really would love to hear more feedback from the Mike from Delran's of the world or other people that are totally insane like that. We love them. We love them. Have a great day, everybody. Cuz Radio comes your